Welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnocky, and as always, I'm here with Matt Stewart and Jess Perkins.
Hello, Dave.
Oh, gasp. Dave, it's so good to be here, and it's so good to be alive.
No, I personally wish I was never born.
And I'm pretty in the middle. I'm just taking it day by day.
Yeah.
Well, I said it more of a statement. I meant, how good is it to be alive?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think it's pretty average because I'm in the middle.
Yep.
You're lukewarm.
Yeah.
I'm piping hot.
Jess has been cold for months.
So,
Jess is frigid.
yeah. Icy.
Well, Frigid Jess, how does this show work?
Well, one of the three of us, Jess, Matt, and Dave, that's us. Hello.
Hi.
We take
Hi.
No, shut up. We take turns researching a topic usually suggested to us by our listeners. We go away, we read all about it, we write a little school report, and we bring it back to the other two who listen politely, who support our friend with kindness. And we usually get on topic with a question. Dave, it's your turn to do a report this week. Have you written a question for us?
I have.
Ooh,
Okay.
In answer to your question, yes.
Great.
And here's my question for you both to get onto topic. My question is, who is described by historicuk.com as? This is their little summary to get you sucked in to click the article. Her life provided tragedy and romance more dramatic than any legend. Perhaps the best known figure in Scotland's royal history.
Queen Mary of the Scots.
I will take that. That sounded almost like a Jeopardy answer.
Well, you re-jumble it into the
Exactly.
right order.
Edit in your own mind, which I did, and I'm going to take that as Mary, Queen of Scots. You are correct.
Yeah, so there was no the in there, so he's wrong.
Yeah.
No, Dave paid it. Dave paid it. For the scoreboard,
Yeah.
Dave pays.
Exactly. Point for you. We are talking about Mary, Queen of Scots. This one was voted for by the Patreon, and this topic only won by 2 votes.
Ooh.
This is one that I kept sending screenshots to both of you in our group chat saying, it's a tie.
That's
It's still a
right.
tie. I want to start researching, but it's a tie. I even posted in the Facebook group saying, guys, if you haven't voted, please vote because it is a tie. Mary, Queen of Scots jumped out by 2, and this is out of hundreds and hundreds, close to 1,000 votes.
Whoa.
That's how tight it was.
That's tight.
Tight at the top. But I think the chose, as historicuk.com says,
Oh.
they chose a dramatic story. Do you guys know much about Mary, Queen of the Scots?
No, I don't think I do.
No, I know there's been like modern films about.
Have you seen any of them?
I was going to say I
them.
haven't seen any of them.
That's probably good because that would have given away quite a bit of the story. Even though that there are a few embellishes apparently in the story there.
Right. No, I know nothing about anything, but particularly. Sorry, that was more of a general statement.
Great.
I know nothing.
You know nothing about anything, but zooming in on this topic, you also
Absolutely
know nothing.
Yeah.
Well, this one I nearly knew the name. And
Yes, that's
not a
something.
bad start.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that is one step ahead of Jack.
As a proud partial Scotsman,
Mm-hmm.
a few generations removed,
Mm.
I'm stoked to finally learn more about her.
What do you know her surname?
Stuart.
It is Stuart.
Yes. But with a U, I think.
Yes, but we'll talk about that. I put in
It's a French.
I put a Stuart fact in there just for this guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the wrong spelling, but, it's a cute attempt at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first name spelling.
Yeah.
This one's been suggested by a few people. Thank you to Rachel Razzie from Brisbane, Lewis Gemmell from Glasgow, Sam Marklin from Melbourne, and Josh Curry from Preston in the UK, who suggested a specific part of the story. Thanks to all those people. And anyone can suggest a topic at any time. Don't even have to be on the Patreon. You go to dogoonpod.com and there's a little suggest a topic tab.
For instance, you could do it right now.
Do it right now.
Get in
Pause
there.
this so that you can really focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of something good.
Suggest a topic.
Yeah. Doesn't even have to be something good. You can suggest anything. We just probably won't do it.
Yeah, we'll just ignore the shit ones. But you can suggest anything.
Exactly. And some people have suggested anything.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely, and there's a little section where you can explain why you think it's a good topic, and that's a great chance to pitch it.
Yeah.
I often go off those pitches. The people who seem excited by it and give a few tantalizing details.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gets you pumped.
Yeah.
So to give a bit of backstory here, previously on the English monarchy.
Dun dun.
Honestly, I love a previously on. Except when, because it was often on shows that like came out week to week, obviously, because that's how TV used to work. But when you're binging it now,
Yes.
It's like, I know I just saw
I
this in
got
the
to tell
episode.
you, even then I watch the previously because they often show bits that, like from about 3 episodes ago,
Yeah.
that seemed insignificant, and I go, "Oh, great! I needed to know that. Great,
Yeah.
awesome.
Exactly.
Now I know.
This is going to
Thank
be
you for
relevant.
showing-
But also sometimes I feel like that spoils it a little bit because I'm like, oh, okay, so they've just mentioned, oh, I have a fake brother. And you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to find out about the fake brother.
Yeah,
you know what I
fake
mean?
brother's coming
Sometimes
up.
I'm like,
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah, whoa! Spoilers on that thing I already saw.
Okay,
Yeah.
jeez.
Spoon feeding it. Come on.
But I love bloopers and I love a previously on.
Well, this is kind of a previously
bloopers?
on.
Oh.
Yeah, well, there'll be bloopers at the end of the episode. Keep listening. Honestly, there might be one. This kind of relates to, in many ways, a topic I did years ago on Henry VIII.
Of course.
Maybe 5+ years ago,
And
I did a topic.
remember it just word for word, Dave.
Yes, but just for the people who don't remember, haven't heard it, Jess, I'm going to give a brief summary. But of course, you can just zone out for the next 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Henry VIII, the man who broke up and rewrote the entire church and married 6 times, 2 of which ended when he executed his wives, all in the ruthless pursuit of political alliance and, more importantly, having a healthy male heir, which he did. Well, his heir was kind of healthy. He was a bit sick. But anyway, still, he had a male heir, which was his lifelong goal.
Do you remember if in that episode I was annoyed that he didn't end up having 8 wives? As a Henry VIII, it just doesn't feel
Yeah.
quite right, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bit off.
It's uncomfortable.
It's a bit off.
Come on, mate.
It's a bit crook.
Yeah, couple more, mate.
Come on. 2
I
more
imagine
wives.
if I'm consistent, I am. I probably had that thought 5 years ago. As
Yeah,
well.
probably.
If there's anything I've ever said about you, it's your consistency.
Yes.
Yep.
Consistently shit.
I'll have
They
a
call
word.
me the human metronome.
So sadly, only 6 wives. Sorry. In 1537, Henry's 3rd surviving child and only son was born to Henry's 3rd wife, Jane Seymour, and his name was Edward. Edward was the younger half-brother of Mary from Henry's first marriage to Catherine of Aragon, and Elizabeth from his second marriage to Anne Boleyn. All 3 of these surviving children would go on to be King or Queen of England.
There you go.
Wow.
Like usually, often, there's an heir, and then the others are like, whatever.
Isn't that
All
wild?
3 had
All
to
from
go.
the one family as well. That's crazy that they all made it to the top.
Hmm.
You know? Normally, the odds of that must be pretty long.
Yeah, they all had
Unless
a
there was
pretty
some
good go.
sort of, nepotism involved.
Oh no.
They all got on their merits.
They're all
Yeah.
chosen by God and by the people.
It's
Yeah, wow.
meritocracy.
Yeah. Out of everyone in England, his 3 kids were the best.
Isn't that amazing?
That's wild, yeah. You'd be so proud as a parent.
So, you'd be stoked.
My-
Proud as punch.
My 3 little freaks.
Yeah.
The best little freaks.
Good on him.
Don't know why I called them freaks, but it just felt right in the moment.
You always think that you love your kids
Yeah.
because you think they're the best, but that's just because they're your kids. But as it turns out, they are the best.
Proof. Sadly, he didn't live to see that though, because for them to be
Oh.
the best, he had to die.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Oh, weird system.
It isn't, yeah.
Interesting.
A bit odd.
Oh, he died on the day he was voted out as well. So you understand.
That's rough.
Had nothing to do with his death, really. When Henry VIII died in 1547, his son Edward became King Edward VI at the age of just 9. Because he was so young, a council of regency governed everything. Now, religion plays an important part in this whole story, and it all goes back to Henry VIII. Because it turns out that changing the whole religion and church for your country just so you can remarry has lots and lots of ramifications.
What?
Can you believe that? Changing everyone's religion and the church changes a lot.
I don't see how that happens.
Hmm.
I think you just go, okay, different now, and everyone just is cool with that. I don't see how that could change anything.
Yeah. Because there's no... I don't think there's any big quarrels or anything between the Protestants and Catholics.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Well, actually, Matt, I've got a couple coming up.
Oh.
Oh.
Let me educate you about this.
Yeah, right. Oh, there you go. So if they were just all remained as one church, there probably would never have been another war.
Exactly.
Wow.
Gosh, he-
Henry VIII, I'm starting to turn on him.
I think he might be a bit of a C word.
A
Catholic?
charlatan? Oh.
Well, he was, but no more. Because long story very short, Henry wanted to annul his first marriage to Catherine of Aragon after nearly 24 years together, which is pretty amazing, being like, this marriage doesn't count.
24 years.
Yes, we have a child, but no, we never, we didn't consummate, no.
No.
Henry was a devout Catholic growing up, but the Pope refused to grant the annulment. So as monarch, Henry made himself the head of the Church of England, which was no longer Catholic but rather Protestant. Protestantism had recently taken off as a protest to the Catholic Church, hence the name.
So he didn't start. It was already kicking off before he.
Yeah, like Martin
got involved.
Luther had already gotten in there and sort of it was spreading around a bit. And he was a bit like, well, if you're not going to let me divorce, you know who does? Protestants. So
Yeah, right.
that's what we are now.
Gotcha.
And I'm in charge of the church. I'm the head. So England went from being very Catholic to very Protestant, and his son, Edward VI, had been brought up Protestant because he was the third child and grown up with Protestant advisors acting on his behalf. But when Edward died, his older half-sister Mary was next in line to the throne. The problem was she was from Henry's first marriage and she'd grown up extremely Catholic.
Right.
So there were fears that if Mary came in, she would undo her father's changes to the church, and this would be bad news for the people currently in power.
Right.
They're like, oh, we might get punished, so we'll try and keep her out. So before he died, Edward VI named his heir as his Protestant cousin, Lady Jane Grey, who upon Edward's death was proclaimed queen for 9 whole days.
Whoa. And then she was like, I don't like this.
Yeah, this is a lot more pressure than I thought
I think
it would be.
I'm just going to go be a baker.
Yeah.
I like the routine of it. I like the.
I love early mornings.
I'm an early bird.
Early start, early finish.
You know?
That's what
and then
I
I've got the afternoons to myself to just work on some creative project. All of this is a bit much for me. And you know what, Jane? That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. You find what you
I mean?
love and do it. You never feel like you worked a day in your life.
Exactly right.
Lady Jane.
Lady Jane Grey, the 9-day queen, they call her. But Henry's oldest daughter, Mary, and her supporters marched on London, and most of Jane's supporters abandoned her. So the Privy Council of England suddenly changed sides and proclaimed, Mary, no, you are the queen, you're the queen, on the 19th of July, 1553, deposing Jane, who sadly was later executed.
Oh, for what? Just wanting to be a baker? Oh, okay. So what? The Catholics, whoever, they don't like bread?
Oh, you fuck up a half dozen cinnamon scrolls one time,
She's
straight
new.
to the block.
Give her
Yeah.
a chance.
Come on.
She's only just become a baker.
She's an apprentice.
Ridiculous.
Oh.
I'm furious.
I'm upset about that.
Sorry.
Lady Jane.
I love bread.
I love Lady Jane.
Now where are we getting bread?
Yeah.
Is that why Catholics have that flat bread? It's because they killed their best baker.
Sticks to the roof of your mouth.
Never had the
Pathetic.
pleasure.
They've had the
give me a
pleasure
crusty roll.
of eating Jesus.
No.
Well, you don't get to. You got to go through a few steps before you get to eat Jesus, mate.
That's right. You don't
Okay.
go straight to eating Jesus.
You can't. You know what, though? No, I won't. Well, but just you could just go up. They don't check.
Really? They don't check your ID card?
No.
I think they would know, though. They'd
God
look at
would know.
Dave and they'd go, ooh.
Okay.
The holy water would steam off his forehead.
It'd curdle.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Are those horns, young man? Mary was Mary the First, which she was in more ways than one because she was the first woman to successfully claim the throne of England. And she did reverse her father's changes to the church and reconnected with the Pope and the Vatican, making England Catholic again.
Ah.
As feared, she had 283 of her Protestant opponents executed, mostly burned at the stake.
Well, now, as a Catholic, I'm sure she's thinking, what would Jesus do? And I think he would kill his enemies.
Very spiteful.
They believe in a slightly different Jesus, they should die. Well, they believe in the same Jesus slightly differently.
Yeah.
She was known to her
Off with
enemies.
their heads.
Oh, was that her?
She's known to her enemies, and now history as Bloody Mary.
Okay.
Which came first, the hair of the dog or the queen?
Both born on the same day.
Okay.
Cheers to this queen. Oh, what's that?
Bit of tomato juice. And I added Tabasco.
Tabasco and celery. This shouldn't work.
But it does.
Mary was queen for about 5 years and had no heir when she died in 1558, so her younger half-sister, Elizabeth, was her successor. She became Elizabeth I, famed queen and namesake for the Elizabethan era. But guess what? She changed the religion back, establishing an English Protestant church of which she became the supreme governor. She then established the Elizabethan religious settlement over 4 years, which charted a course enabling the English church to describe itself as both Reformed and Catholic, a sort of middle road between Roman Catholicism and radical Protestantism, known as Anglicanism. Just to throw a bit forward, Elizabeth will also be a main player in today's story about Mary. But in summary, that's England during this time. Imagine how wild that was for the people to be like, you're Catholic. No, now you're this new thing. You're all Protestant and the king's the head of the church. And then Mary's like, no, you're Catholic again. And then Elizabeth comes in and says, no, you're a new thing, but not Catholic. This all happened in a 24-year period.
Wow. Great time to be a journalist.
Mm.
A lot happening.
A lot of news. Yeah, safe time to be a journalist, absolutely. And for years, after those that are in power are worried that someone new will come in and change it all again. So they've seen so much change that they're worried it'll keep, because every time someone comes in, they're like, hey, you were with the last lot, get out.
Mm.
So people are constantly trying to, save their own skin.
They'd be craving some stability.
Exactly.
But will they get it? Oh, I guess we're about to find out.
Well, actually, going back a little bit, about halfway through the time I just talked about, in 1542, up in Scotland, where they had their own separate kingdom in Linlithgow Palace, the woman that is the centre of this episode was born. Her name was Mary.
Oh, okay. Didn't see that
Didn't
coming.
see it coming. Her father was King James V of Scotland from the House of Stuart. Her mother was his second wife, a French woman, Mary of Guise. The only surviving child of James V, the king was not happy that she was a girl, and he died just 6 days after her birth. He was already unwell, but some claimed he died of disappointment, which is a brutal start for Mary.
Mm.
Is that something you can die of? I'm not a doctor. I just want to put that out there. But
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I think it's possible if you are either already sick and dying or you've drank contaminated water. It's the two real reasons I read why he died.
He drank very disappointing quality water.
I'm disappointed in this, but I can't stop drinking.
And his wife was a geezer.
Yeah, she was Mary of Guise
That's cool. The original geezer.
Love that.
Where's Guise?
in France.
Oui. Oui, bon bon.
Mary became baby Queen of Scots when her father died, being declared Queen of Scotland when she was just 6 days old, which is quite young. I think we can all agree.
Too young.
A real,
If you can't hold your head up, you can't be queen.
I reckon it just shows you're a real high achiever.
Heavy is the head that holds the crown.
It also
And-
doesn't have the neck,
And doesn't have neck muscles.
muscles yet.
Yeah, just a crown with neck muscles apparently is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Jeez, that baby. I guess I would have had to have used some sort of a system, maybe a couple of sticks, some masking tape wrapped around it.
Yeah.
Duct tape.
I'll get like a tummy crown,
Oh, yeah.
put it over.
Yeah. Tummy crown. What are we doing?
So she's Queen of Scotland at 6 days old. Mary was also related to the English royal family, as she was the great-granddaughter of King Henry VII. Her grandmother, Margaret Tudor, was Queen of Scotland and also the older sister of Henry VIII.
Right.
So her great-uncle is King Henry VIII.
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Does that
Starting to
kinda
get a
make
little
sense?
bit. Yeah, this family tree is starting to get a little bit.
I'm going to need a diagram.
Yeah, if you think, but basically her grandma was Henry's older sister.
Yeah.
So she's got Tudor blood because that's what their dynasty's called, the Tudors.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm starting to feel like, George of the Jungle chopping through the overgrowth of this family tree. You know what I mean? I'm getting lost in here. It's a jungle. This isn't a tree, it's a bloody jungle.
This family jungle.
Well, fortunately, it doesn't get too much more complicated than that. But because of this, because she's got Tudor blood, she was actually next in line to the English throne after her great-uncle Henry VIII's kids.
Right.
Basically, if they don't have children, she was next up.
Okay.
And that's very important to the story.
Yeah.
Being only 6 days old, to be honest, she wasn't much of a queen to begin with. Sure. I think we'll all be
Jeez,
surprised there.
Dave.
That's brutal.
First she's killed her dad, and now she's a shit queen. I mean...
What have you done at 6 days old? What have you done at 32?
Days old.
yeah. Let's go through my life month at a time.
Yeah. Figure out what you've done.
There was a queen who only lasted 7 days. And
9.
Now, 9 days, apologies.
You
Get
really,
it right.
He's a real round down kind of guy. What, he was basically a week? She's like, it was 9 days. All right? It's basically a fortnight.
This one wasn't queen for 6 days.
Yeah, 6
Makes
days
you think, doesn't
Oh,
it?
fuck, it does.
of
It
her
does
whole
like-
life. So she's a baby, and others really try to take advantage of this. Her great uncle, King Henry VIII, who was still alive at this point, arranged for Mary to marry his son Edward, hoping to bring England and Scotland together.
Oh, baby wedding.
Baby wedding.
But also kind of eliminates her from taking over, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By together, I mean Scotland would be under the thumb of England
Yeah.
because he would the king would be more in charge.
Yeah.
So it's great for Henry if he could pull off that coup. When Mary was 6 months old, they signed a treaty stating that she would marry Edward, which I know sounds a bit weird, but don't worry, she wouldn't have to marry him until she was 10 years old.
Oh, that's nice. And how old would he be by then?
I think he's a few years older.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
He would also he'd be a young teen.
Perfect. Yeah, great. Oh, that's very reasonable, very thoughtful of them.
Yeah, good
And
on him.
is this in a time where that is normal?
I think for this kind of like king and
Because
queen
people
type
used
stuff.
to die at 40 or something, right? So 10 is sort of the equivalent of 30.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because now we live to 120.
I love it when he does maths.
And how many dog years were people living back then?
Oh.
How old were dogs? Would dogs only live till 2?
Oh, God.
That's tragic.
That is tragic.
I think dogs live the same amount of time. So back then, dogs just lived years.
Oh, dogs ruled the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Henry VIII was a bit of a dog.
So there's this treaty that says Mary's going to marry Edward. However, many Scots opposed this treaty as, like Mary, they were Catholic, and they decided to break the agreement. Henry VIII was furious and sent his army to attack Scotland, and this period is known to history as the Rough Wooing. Seriously. Hearing historians say it, it's very funny.
The rough
During
wooing.
the Rough Wooing, Henry VIII.
The rough wooing.
The Rough Wooing.
See, that's dog stuff again. All right. Why you marry me? Want to go on a date? Ruff, ruff. Oh, no.
So that's the Rough Wooing. England were pissed off and there were a bunch of battles and sieges. Scotland were a bit worried, so they sided with fellow Catholic France. King Henry II of France proposed to unite France and Scotland by marrying Mary to his 3-year-old son, the Dauphin, the future King Francis. And this got France on side, and then England were like, okay, we'll back down because we're scared of France. So Scotland had safety, but Mary had to move to France when she was 6 years old, and she grew up in the French court with the children of King Henry of France in magnificent royal palaces, living a life of luxury. She'd been sent over with 4 ladies in waiting who were all her age, and their names were Mary, 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 and Mary. Altogether,
5 Marys.
these 4 Marys lived with Mary.
And so sorry. So her ladies in waiting, who are typically there to they do everything for the queen. They dress her, they feed, whatever, everything she's. They're her age as well, so they're also 6.
They grow up together, yeah. Being basically, it's like little mates, little companions.
The little prep kids. What do you do? You at school? You at school yet? No, I'm a lady in waiting.
But they're also supposed to know what their title. But they're just children.
Yeah, and supposed to advise her as to that's quite unladylike. You shouldn't be doing that. But they're like, nah, I like Pokemon.
And they're all growing up together, and then at some point, she's their boss.
Yeah.
That's a fucked dynamic.
It's very strange. And it's also
Send adults to look after that child.
so there's 5 Marys.
That's so
It
good.
sounds like a reality show. Doesn't it? 5 baby Marys.
The House of Marys.
5 baby Marys in a palace in France.
Married at first sight.
He's done it. He's done it.
He's done it. I think I did the voice well. He had the title. He nailed it. Let's find out what these baby Marys do next.
Yeah, they're locked in the palace with no help. There's
Yeah.
just security cameras watching their every move.
Which baby Mary will walk away with £100,000? I don't even watch reality TV. They're all the same.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. So yeah, is this the time? Because as I understand it, Stuart got changed to the wrong spelling because the French didn't have a W or something like that.
So, well, I mean, they've got a W.
Okay.
It's a W-V, please. But it was that's what 8 French lessons will get you.
W.
W. It was when France. It was then in France that Mary adopted the French spelling of the surname, so she changed it from Stewart to the more French Stuart, and that changed the whole family from then on.
Yes.
But before that, they were the same
Correct.
spelling as you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some people I've had you Stuarts. This filth. I've had some of them come up to me trying to say that they were the original spelling, and it makes me fucking furious.
What do you say to him?
Well, I just sort of politely go, I don't think that's right. And they go, no, it is. And I go, all right.
All right, next time, if I'm there too, we'll come up with a code word. You bring me in, and I'll fucking go on.
Okay.
What's the code word?
Because we've got to. Well, no, we can't come up with that on pod.
Oh, okay, great.
It has to be a
great.
secret code word.
Yeah, good one. Sorry.
But you know, Matt, we've got to protect your sweet boy reputation. But I've ruined mine already. So
You just savage them.
yeah, she'll turn on a dime.
All right.
And on anybody who says my Maddie's wrong, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, wow. She'll kill.
Yeah.
Sorry, I blacked out.
Your Honour. I don't recall killing anyone.
I don't think I did, Your
Well,
Honour.
it's so weird that Jess disappeared and Jason Statham appeared in the room.
Maybe I'm good at voices.
Yeah, you are. I'm a megalodon.
He's the megalodon. Is that what happens in part 2?
I haven't seen it, but yeah, I assume he is a megalodon.
He is a megalodon.
I have seen it and I can't confirm that's right.
Megalodon.
So she becomes the French Stuart. And in fact, because she grew up and came of age in France, Britannica writes, French now became her first language.
Yeah.
And indeed, in every other way, Mary grew into a French woman rather than a Scot.
Yeah, I'm disappointed because I like the Scottish accent.
Mm.
It was nice imagining that, but I've got to imagine French, an ugly language.
Yeah, hideous.
So
Hideous language.
just disgusting to listen to.
So unsexy.
Yeah, everybody says it. Everybody knows it.
I wonder how she becomes Queen of Scots. 'Cause right now it feels more like she's Queen of Franks. Is it okay to say that? Is that right? Is that what they call themselves?
France.
France.
Because they don't have a word for France in France.
Ah,
Have you heard that before?
Ah, yeah. It's beautiful language. A lot of holes in it, though.
is that true or is that not? Is that a joke?
Well, they don't call themselves France.
They don't.
No.
Francais?
France.
Holes.
France. They don't call themselves France.
They don't. It's ridiculous. Do
So
they know how they sound?
We go over there and we say, hello, it's nice to be here in France. And they're like, I do not know what you're talking about. Frenchies.
They never understand what anyone's talking about, the
Yeah.
French.
Pardon? Stuff like that.
Sorry. Hey, you don't speak in my accent. How can I? How do you think everyone's just going to speak in everyone's accent all of a sudden? Figure it out.
Australians, we're very adaptable and we're not sensitive at all.
If you don't say it exactly perfect, I've got no idea what you're saying.
That's Matt having a breakdown in the Moulin Rouge. So your seat is this way. What the
What
fuck?
are you
What do you
talking
mean?
about?
What?
Where am I sitting?
See, that would seem ridiculous, wouldn't it? Now flip it around.
Yeah, seat at the MCG. It's just over here, love. I do not understand.
At the MCG. That's our Moulin Rouge.
Two very cultural sites.
Beautiful place for art.
So Mary, she was reportedly very beautiful with long red hair, and not her value because she was also very intelligent and learned to speak French, Italian, Spanish, and Latin. Enjoyed hunting, writing poetry, dancing, and horse riding. When she was older, she would apparently dress as a stable boy and ride incognito around Edinburgh.
Love that.
Was it fun? She was also, by many accounts, an extremely charming woman, and anyone who spoke to her would fall under her spell.
Does that remind you of anybody? Or?
Well, I've got her blood, so yeah, I assume it does. I've got it in a little vial.
I've got her blood.
I got it. I went there and I got it. Now I have it. It's mine.
I got it on the dark web. It was so weird. I got 50 litres of it. I said, is that a lot? And they were like, yeah, it's a fair bit.
I've got all her blood.
I got it all. I reckon they were milking her or something. So weird.
How much blood do we have in us?
I think it was like 8, so was it 7 or 8 litres or something? Or was it 3 or 4? Fuck. Google it quick, Jessica. I need to know.
Because how much
I
do
sound
you...
like an idiot.
Because you can only give like a pint's worth when you're donating
At a
blood, right?
time.
Yeah, sure. But then
Yeah.
it makes more. That's what's crazy.
We milked her for a whole life.
How many litres of blood? It's a weird thing to Google. 5 litres.
There we go. Great. It was somewhere between what I was
An
saying.
average adult has just under 5 litres of blood circulating around the body. That's
So
from
we took-
blood.gov.au.
Oh yeah, I trust blood.gov.au. I think what we did was we took her 5 litres,
Yep.
waited till she regenerated,
Yeah,
took another 5,
Oh, yeah.
repeated the process.
Yeah.
Back in Scotland, her mother, remember, also called Mary, ruled Scotland as her regent. So she's technically still Queen of Scotland, but because she's under 18, mum's in charge. And like her mother, Mary was reportedly very tall. In fact, she was a giant for the time, standing 180 centimetres or 5'11". I read one article in the BMJ Medical Journal, try to put it into context. It says she was 5'11" in height when the average woman was around 4'11".
Whoa. Yeah, okay. She's huge.
So they've worked it out. She was the equivalent of a woman these days who would be 6'5" in comparison to
Yeah,
other
wow,
people. And
tall.
they write she was probably one of the tallest women in Europe.
I don't understand how 180 centimetres is 5'11".
Yeah, I think
But-
182 is 6, or 183 is 6.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's just like by
Yeah,
because I'm
82.5
170
or something.
and I'm 5'7".
Well, that makes sense. She's 4 inches taller than you.
I know. I'm just saying, like
Oh,
it's
right.
it's like it's only 10 centimeters difference, but it's a lot of
Yeah.
inches.
4.
So she was,
Know what I
I've
mean?
never seen you do a regret face.
but can I just say 4 inches is huge. So
So basically, if she wanted to, she could play for the Opals
absolutely.
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah.
Probably not the Opals though, because that's Australian.
Right, but part of the Commonwealth,
Oh yeah, true.
which probably didn't exist at this time. I don't know.
Probably.
Well, Australia as a country. I don't think the Opals did.
Mm.
Interesting points. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
would have probably played. I don't think basketball existed now that we're talking about it.
God.
But she would have played for the
She was
equivalent
really ahead of her time.
of the Australian women's basketball team.
Yes,
If
if it had
Australia
existed.
or
basketball
or women.
women's basketball or
Or
the
women.
Opals or the women. If women existed, yes,
Australia as a country, as a place, it did exist.
I absolutely did.
I don't want anyone.
And so did Opals.
I don't want anyone out there thinking, "Hang on, when did the land of Australia
Just
form?"
pop up.
I'm just talking about the name, the
Yes.
word Australia,
Yes,
the country. There was quite a lot of nations here before then.
that's correct.
And like I said, Opals too.
Opals
so.
were here also.
Yeah, I think they were starting to form around this time. They were starting to come good.
So yeah, she's a Lauren Jackson of her day.
That's right. A perfect
put her
example.
into
Thank you.
Context is
Yeah, she's like when she's a foot taller than
than
average,
an average
yeah.
person. Which
That's
is
very tall.
Wild. In April 1558, at the age of 15, Mary married the 14-year-old Dauphin Francis in Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Mary Stuart was very fond of white and insisted on wearing that colour, even though white was regarded as the colour of mourning in 16th century France.
Really? So what color would you wear to a wedding typically?
Black.
Oh, maybe, I don't
They
know.
You
flipped it.
didn't know? Interesting. Because now it's sort of like, obviously white's a wedding color, but you can wear whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool that all the way back then she's like, no, I'm going to wear what I like.
I like this colour.
That's cool.
Either that or she was like, I don't want to marry this guy. I'm in mourning.
Or
Yeah.
she's thinking, I'm mourning my single life.
Yeah.
Her father-in-law, the King of France, soon died from injuries sustained whilst jousting.
Ugh, that'll do it.
Pretty badass.
That'll do it.
And Mary became both Queen of Scotland and Queen of France with her husband, King Francis II. Not bad. Not a bad effort in your teens to become Queen of 2 countries now.
I don't know. It's just like, I thought I was a bit of an overachiever because in grade 6 I was blue team captain and school captain.
Wow, was that the first time that had ever happened?
Probably.
They didn't think about sharing the leadership positions around?
No, I was just a natural leader.
Okay, great.
And they wanted to foster that in 12-year-old Jess. And I think
Yes.
that's nice.
And you obviously grew up to be school captain as well. I mean, drama captain.
Drama captain.
Sorry.
Again, the leadership.
So,
It's strong in me. But she's leading 2 countries, and I can't help but feel like that maybe trumps being school captain and blue team captain.
I don't know. I see both of them as a country in themselves.
Okay, great. Oh, cool. All right, then yeah, I can relate.
Great. Also in 1558.
Sorry, Dave. I found, according to lovetoknow.com,
Here we go.
I'd love to know.
.com.
although there were a few exceptions, such as Mary, Queen of Scots, who wore a white dress to her wedding in 1558, women typically wore other colours, which could have included blue, red, yellow, green, or even grey.
So just colours. They just wore a coloured dress.
And I love how it's not did, could have included.
Could have.
For example, I've thought of these colours and I've written them down.
So it shouldn't be called love to know. It should be called love to speculate.
I love to have a guess.
That's interesting. I wonder when white sort of became the...
Apparently just 1840, according to this, I've just Googled and this came up on a page called wikipedia.org. I guess that's like wedding Wikipedia.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, use that.
1840.
Actually, use that
1840.
website to plan my wedding. Very useful.
Yeah, right.
Queen Victoria. She was the one that kicked it off. Obviously ripping off Mary, Queen of Scots.
Yeah, wow.
300 years later.
Also in 1558, in England, her cousin Elizabeth I was crowned Queen of England. And she had no children. This meant that Mary was next in line to the throne in England as well.
She's racking them
Was
up.
she really? Yeah. And also, they're Queen of England and Ireland at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So she has got the chance to do...
She's like a Voltron
Yeah,
type.
put them all together. She's got France, Scotland, potential to add England and Ireland as well. That's only if Elizabeth doesn't have children, so we'll see what happens. In fact, many Catholics believed that Henry VIII's marriage to Elizabeth's mother, Anne Boleyn, was invalid because he divorced his first wife, and they don't believe in divorce. They therefore thought that Elizabeth's claim to the throne was illegitimate and that Mary was therefore the rightful Queen of England.
Right, yep.
In fact, this was the position stated by Mary's father-in-law, the King of France, before he died. He claimed the thrones of England and Ireland and Mary, Queen of Scots' name, and this decision got Elizabeth's attention and both outraged and disconcerted her. All of this was the beginning of a very famous rivalry between the Queens, Mary and Elizabeth, that would last over 25 years, during which time the two would write many letters back and forth.
I didn't realise it was going to get that nasty.
Yeah.
Come on, girls. Let's play nice. Get me my quill.
The Twitter spat of the day.
Let's just say the letters were written, okay?
Sometimes they were very loving, and Elizabeth would sign off, "Your most assured sister and cousin."
Okay.
So sometimes be quite nice, but
Just instantly sort of contradicting herself there.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
How you
The
both?
royal family.
Oh, yeah,
Very
probably.
possibly both.
Could be your mum as well.
other times they would try and put each other in their place with regards to claims to the throne or try and sort of outdo each other a bit. It's a strange relationship that takes many forms over the 2.5 decades, but it starts with Elizabeth being affronted that Mary had family saying that she should be Queen of England and Ireland, as well as Scotland and France, and Elizabeth obviously was not happy to hear that. So that's what started the chain of letters.
Well, it sounds like she's a little insecure in herself.
Insecure. Yeah. She sounds insecure to me.
An instant cure. An instant cure for the blues. Write an angry letter.
That was just cruel, Jess.
What? I'm just agreeing with you. She sounds insecure.
Is it cruel to back up a friend?
Yeah, sorry. I know we're usually the sass twins, but this time I just felt like being supportive.
Why are you acting like a French person right now?
If you don't say it perfectly, I don't understand what you're talking about.
What are you saying?
I don't know what it means. Why are you acting like a French person?
Big love to all our French listeners.
Love our
I know
French
there's some great
listeners.
French listeners out there. Just a bit of fun.
Bit of fun amongst friends.
Bit of fun.
I love
But
your
don't-
language. I love your language. I'm doing the lessons right now.
But don't say anything about us. We cannot handle it.
We are very... We're givers. We're not takers.
We're not takers.
Okay?
We cannot handle it.
Please. We're very fragile.
Let us shit all over you.
Yes.
End of conversation.
Because that's what we do. That's our culture.
That's right.
We're larrikins.
Yeah.
We like to make fun.
Exactly.
But you do not dare make
Oh
fun
my
of us. We cannot take
We
it.
do not like it.
You can't bully the bully.
We don't like it.
Not allowed.
Stop it.
That's very true what we're saying. We're
Yeah.
saying it like a joke, but it's true.
It's quite
Please,
true, yeah.
please don't make
Please,
fun of us.
no mean tweets.
Something that we really need to work on as a nation.
Yes.
I can't handle it. Right? Very
As a
sensitive.
nation.
As a
Yeah.
nation.
Sadly for Mary, her reign as Queen of France was short-lived, as 1560 was an absolute shocker of a year for her. First, her husband Francis died, leaving her a widow at just 18, which is obviously a bummer personally, and she also stopped being the Queen as the King's younger brother took the throne.
Right. How did he die? Do you know?
I think it was just... No, I do remember, actually. He got an ear infection that moved into his brain,
Whoa.
Damn.
which is nasty. An inner ear infection. Yeah.
That's full on.
Doesn't get much more inner ear than your brain.
So in one ear, it came out the other.
Yeah, jeez.
His brain.
Wow. Now that's no good for her. Or is it good for her? It's like, she's got one less responsibility now.
Yes, but she's also, like, in France, she's quite safe because they're, at the time, a relatively stable and strong country.
Right. Do they still, see her as one of their own?
Yeah, she probably could have stuck around, but also in 1560, this is why it's such a bad year, back home in Scotland, her mother Mary, who'd been ruling on her behalf, died.
Oh, man.
So she said, I've got to go back to Scotland.
Yeah.
To take over my kingdom.
That's right, because she's 18 now.
She's 18. I can be the ruler, and if I don't get back there, someone else will take over. So she's got to leave the safety of France, go back to Scotland, a place she hadn't been since she was a child. And returning home, she encountered a nation in the turmoil of their own religious reformation, as the nation had become Protestant while she was away. And to many, she seemed like an alien queen from a different country and also a different religion. They were like, you're not even Scottish. You're not even Protestant.
I mean, she's fully raised in France.
She
France.
Goes for the big... obviously, this is why she goes for the big rebranding. I imagine she gets her team around her, and that's when they come up with Queen of Scots.
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm not Scottish?
She's wearing a lot of tartan.
She's got a new logo.
It really is the rebrand of the century because we all know her as Mary Queen of Scots.
Yeah.
But the first 18 years, people were like, you're not.
You're not.
You're
not
French.
Even.
Yeah.
Like, she's putting on a pretty bad Scottish accent, but she's trying. It's a hard one to go from French to Scottish, I reckon.
That really is.
And we means such different things in the two countries
yes,
as well.
That's true.
Neither of them correct.
Yeah.
Nah, just joking.
So she went back. She did her best to manage hostile Scottish noblemen who were pretty keen on protecting their own self-interests. But she managed well with the aid of her half-brother, the illegitimate James Stuart, the Earl of Moray. More on that James Stuart later. And more on this whole exciting story after these brief messages. So Mary's now widowed at just 18 and she looked to marry again. She hoped for a supportive partner and also to have an all-important heir. Many potential suitors were interested across the kingdom and Europe. One man really put himself out there. I'm going to have a real go at this guy's name. A French courtier by the name of Pierre de Bossequel de Chastelard, who had fallen in love with Mary in France, and he had become infatuated with her.
Well, it could go either way. That could be sweet or creepy.
Okay, what do you think of this?
We're
going to play a game called Sweet or Creepy now.
Okay. Well, okay, yep. I want to play, but also, like, it doesn't really matter what I think. All that matters is what Mary thinks.
Yeah, okay, great.
She's dead.
So we can't even ask. All right.
All right, so we'll have to
sweet or creepy.
defer to you. Sweet or creepy?
I'm guessing just because you're asking the question, it's going to be creepy.
It's going to be super sweet. Right.
Yeah, because
it's Dave asking. He's a sweetie pie.
Yeah, I love sweetness.
If it was me, it'd be creepy.
He travelled to Edinburgh and hid himself under her bed.
Okay.
Creepy.
Sweet.
Hoping to jump... I'll finish the plan. Hoping to jump out and declare his love.
I love you! From under her bed.
Yeah. Sweet or creepy?
It's getting sweeter.
The love really sweeten, give a little sweetness.
Yeah.
He was discovered by her maids of honour. I can only assume one of the Marys. Queen Mary pardoned the offence, but then he snuck in to see her again at a time where it turns out she was about to disrobe. An awkward time to walk back into the bedroom.
Oh, yeah, he accidentally walked in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to put any shade on this guy. I don't know if it was
a
on
royal
purpose.
family or one of the Porky's movies?
I think he's timed it poorly because she was about to disrobe. So he's like, fuck, I'll come back.
I'll come back, but according to Britannica, he was discovered again, seized, sentenced, and then hanged the next morning.
The fuck?
That really escalated.
Yeah, pardon once.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. The second time around, you're getting hanged.
He's gone about it in a weird way.
Exactly. Can't get fooled again.
Can't get fooled again. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this hang.
Wow. Okay. So
that's a potential suitor.
He went kind of the rom-com route of a big gesture.
Yes, but...
And he died for it.
Imagine in a rom-com, at the 60-minute mark, they hang the suitor.
And then she just marries some other guy you haven't met yet.
What the fuck?
What is happening?
Oh, amazing.
Do they normally, the rom-coms, they do some slightly off big gestures, but they're normally like standing on a table in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Not hiding under their bed.
Yeah. That is a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah. So personally, it's not something I would do.
Hide under a bed?
No.
Okay, well.
Too claustrophobic.
I bought you a bed, so I was hoping you'd hide under it. Great.
If it's a nice high-legged bed.
No, now I've got to return it to Captain Snooze. Hope you're happy.
So they've got to find a husband for Mary. One of the weirdest proposals came from Elizabeth, remember her rival cousin, writing a letter saying that Mary should marry her friend, Lord Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester. This was a strange suggestion for a few reasons. Dudley was the son of a traitor, had possibly killed his first wife by pushing her down the stairs, and was probably Queen Elizabeth's ex-boyfriend.
He sounds like a catch.
Sounds like Elizabeth's trying to get rid of him.
Yeah. You should marry my ex.
Yeah.
I mean, Dudley.
Here she was telling Mary to marry him, and she even suggested in a letter that the three of them could live together in the royal court in England.
Oh.
I heard one historian describe it as one of history's weirdest menage a trois.
Oh, it happens.
No, like...
Oh, would have been.
Yeah, Elizabeth was pretty keen on it, they seem to think. Elizabeth, most people think, knew Dudley would remain loyal to her, so it was her way of getting a spy into England, getting her, basically her ex to do us a favour and marry my cousin.
Maybe push her down the stairs.
Exactly. Mary declined, which really offended Elizabeth.
Oh.
And ended up making her own choice, which really offended Elizabeth.
Elizabeth's like, oh, you don't want to marry my fucking sloppy seconds?
Oh, okay.
This weirdo.
Fine.
Wow.
This son of a traitor and murderer.
Wow.
Huh, weird.
Okay.
Elizabeth's starting to sound easily offended.
It is a bit. So Mary went with a tall and hot man.
Oh, great choice for a hubby.
Yeah. Someone she'd recently fallen for, a man by the name of Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley.
Already a Stuart.
Already Stuart, yes. He was her cousin.
But
And
he
if you-
spelled his name right?
No.
What?
But maybe he changed it because every Stuart was like, oh, that's how we're doing it now. I don't
Yeah.
know. And if you can point to one first event in a long chain of destruction, it probably starts with her second husband, Darnley.
What?
It was just,
Wow.
it was not a good choice. Darnley was both Elizabeth and Mary's cousin.
But he's tall and hot.
Exactly.
So I don't see how he could be a bad
How could
choice.
he be bad?
A hot cousin.
A tall, hot cousin. Ding, 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 ding.
Sign me up.
God, you could be so lucky. I have a lot of tall cousins.
Yeah, me too.
Unfortunately, they're married. Someone got in there first.
Well, this is her second wedding.
yes.
So, still time.
Yes, fantastic.
So Darnley was related to both Mary and Elizabeth, and because of this, he was actually the nearest heir to both the Scottish and, after Mary, English thrones.
Right.
This move pissed off Elizabeth because it looked like Mary was shoring up her own claim to the English throne by being like, I'm next in line and my husband is next in line after that. So together, we're really next in line.
It's so funny that she's like, oh, she's annoyed. Oh, you're shoring up your claims. I'm trying to shore up my claims.
Yeah.
How dare you? You're doing the thing that I'm trying
How
to do.
dare you do that awful thing that I'm trying to also do?
She had a good political mind, Elizabeth.
I'm just saying, Elizabeth was a bit of a hypocrite.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have said that before, but I'm not afraid of her anymore.
Because she's dead.
Yeah, mainly. She was alive. You better believe I'd be saying edit that out.
As well as frequently described as being very good looking, the rest of the descriptions of Mary Queen of Scots' new husband Darnley are not so nice. Britannica describes Darnley as weak, vicious, and yet ambitious.
Oh, that's a horrible combination.
A terrible combination. He loved to drink, was very promiscuous, reportedly bisexual, having many affairs, and possibly had syphilis.
Okay.
So, but he was tall and hot.
Yeah. So
Can't forget that.
I'm like all the things you're saying. I'm like, so
Yeah. Yeah,
tall and hot.
exactly.
Ugh.
Of course he sucks. He's tall and hot.
Yeah. They
Great.
suck, but they're so beautiful.
Oh my God. Like many men in this story, he was clearly hoping to use Mary to further his own grip on power. He was named King of Scotland, but Mary wasn't really keen on being sidelined by her husband and giving him all the power. He saw her as his subordinate, and she's like, no, you're my subordinate. I'm the queen. He was not happy with that.
And that's good in a marriage, I think. Making it very clear who's the subordinate.
Yes, I think it's important.
I think it's very important.
Normally, you'd say ideally each of the people in the relationship think the other one's better than them.
That would, oh, wow. I mean, that's a nice thought, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd
But
say
I know
that's the
where I
ideal.
stand in mine.
And you're both on the same page?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that sounds like a
And that we both think the other one's better.
Matt, what you're saying sounds like classic subordinate to me.
Yeah. I think you're a subordinate.
Beta.
We both think the other one's better, right? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
For sure.
So, hang on. Now, because this is something I only really started to understand recently. He's the king consort, or is back then he was just king?
He's named like king,
Yeah.
but she's sort of stopping him from actually being. So she's still more senior to him, but he was hoping by, I'll get in, I'll become king, I'll sideline her.
Yeah.
And she's like, absolutely not.
Because the current English king, what's it, Charles?
Yes.
The something. He
Third?
married to Fergie, right?
Camilla.
Jeez, I get those two confused. And Camilla, she's not the queen, she's the queen's consort. Is that right?
I think she's just named, I think they decided to name her just queen.
Okay. Yeah, that stuff's confusing.
Yeah,
So you
it is a
can,
bit.
they can pick
And like
each time.
And Queen Elizabeth was with Prince Philip, so he wasn't king.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in this case, this is going back so long.
Yes.
Mary's husband is given the title
And
of
it's
king.
not, and it's a different system. It's the Scottish.
Yeah.
Yes,
King
and
and queen.
look, yeah, so Camilla officially dropped her consort from her title just before the coronation. But then I think like it's not like when Charles dies, she stays on as queen.
Right.
William will come in, like when Queen Elizabeth II's mother became the Queen's mother.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
That became her new, what everyone called her.
Queen Mother. Yep.
Yeah.
But yes, here,
It's definitely it still feels like a fresh and vital system.
Yes. Yeah. It just makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah, no, when we say it like that, it just makes sense.
You're like, yes, of course they're
Yeah.
Australia's head of state.
You hear it out loud and you just go, I love it.
I loved watching. I didn't watch the coronation, but it's nice just seeing the jewels and the luxury while so many people can't afford food. It's so good, isn't it?
Yes.
It makes sense.
Exactly, the way it used to be.
Yeah.
You know? Peasants,
Yeah.
people with jewels, never the two shall meet.
They're bringing it back.
Bringing it back.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It's good. Traditional values.
So Darnley wants to be king of Scotland, and honestly, he would have been a terrible king because it seems like no one else liked him. All the nobles were against him, and even Mary's half-brother James Stuart, who had supported her up until this point despite being a Protestant, she being Catholic, he began to stop his support when she married Darnley. He was like, you're on your own now, and he became an enemy to her.
Oh, wow.
By Christmas 1565, the royal couple were estranged, even though Mary was pregnant with Darnley's baby. And I don't really need to give you too many reasons to join everyone else in hating Darnley. Really, I can just tell you one story and you will be off him.
All right. Challenge accepted.
He got ugly.
Get rid of him.
Yeah.
In the bin. And he also shrunk.
Yeah, the
So he
two
had nothing
things-
to offer
Two
now.
things he had going for him that Jess was really intrigued by.
Tall and hot.
Go on.
Hello.
Hello. So Mary's private secretary was an Italian man by the name of David Rizzio. He started as a musician, but the Queen really trusted him and then she gave him promotions and he became her secretary, a real trusted advisor, confidant.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Darnley, her husband, was reportedly jealous of how close Rizzio was with the Queen and possibly suspected that Rizzio was the mother of Mary's unborn child.
The father.
Yeah. He's like, it's probably his.
Yeah, but you said suspected he was the mother.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I've written mother. So technically, Jess, I'm just reading my own writing.
I thought I had a micro sleep there.
I was
So
trying to
I'm
help.
like, wait, what's going on?
No.
Do you mind backing over that?
I'll restate that for everyone. He thought that Rizzio was possibly the father of Mary's unborn child.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he thought.
Yeah.
Which is wild because it's more likely that Darnley was the one who was having an affair with David Rizzio.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
Darnley, it seems like from the stories, he would just bang everyone.
Yeah.
But back then, people didn't know how biology worked that well. He might have thought maybe I got Rizzio's jizz.
Yeah.
And I,
Yep, I'm listening.
and I took it over to
Yeah.
Oh,
Mary.
okay.
And that's his fault. That's,
So that's
Rizzio's
his- yeah.
fault.
Yeah. Keep it away from me.
Yeah. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you spill your seed on me and then me take it over to my wife? How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
You dog.
You dog. You Philistine. He slaps him with one of those gloves like
Yeah.
they did in the olden days.
Yeah.
Well, much worse, actually. In March 1566, Mary had just begun supper with Rizzio and some friends in Holyrood Palace when Darnley and possibly up to 80 men stormed in, took over the palace, and burst into the room where Mary and Rizzio were eating. Another guy, Lord Ruthven, was there, and he was wearing a full suit of armour. And they were like, what the fuck's this guy doing here?
Why is he wearing
chickens
It's so
clunking around.
and they're like trying to eat grapes and shit. What the fuck?
He's just clunking along.
It's so ridiculous.
Trying to sneak in to take over the castle, and he's, oh god. Every step sounds like you've dropped a box of cutlery down the stairs. Every step sounds exactly like that.
Is that a suit of armor coming towards our room? Oh my god, I think they've even put armor on the chickens.
The turkeys are wearing armor.
Oh my god.
The turkeys are going into battle.
The attack turkeys are here, sir. Ready whenever you give the order.
Hold.
Hold. I said hold.
Now give the turkeys the charge order.
Okay. Once more into the breached deer turkeys on my count. Hold. And attack! I'm sorry, my lord. The turkeys have been hacked down.
They will make for a delicious dinner.
We really thought they'd make more of a dent.
Apparently they're quite easy.
They were slaughtered.
That's going to be one of the dumbest things we've ever done.
So, Lord Ruthven's clunking around in a full suit of armour.
Now, Ruthven, a turkey?
And honestly, it's not far off what you said, Matt. He walked up to Rizzio and accused him of offending the honour of the Queen. I'm not sure whether he slapped him with his metal hand in the suit of armour. I don't know. Mary was like, "What the hell are you talking about? Stand down." And Rizzio got really scared and hid behind Mary. But Ruthven pulled out a knife and stabbed him and then dragged Rizzio out of the room. Meanwhile, Mary herself was held at gunpoint and made to stay in the room. All the while, David Rizzio was murdered in the hallway outside, being stabbed 56 times.
Oh my god!
And then his body was thrown down the stairs.
And then what? Just left there?
Yeah, just left there.
Waiting for hard rubbish day.
And they can take ages
Yeah.
if you time it wrong.
Got to book them in now.
Yeah.
And then she...
Another thing on the frickin' list.
Okay. I don't know, it's just like get online and do
Yeah,
it, but
still,
just the mental task of doing,
Yeah.
Oof.
I've already got emails to write. Now
You
I got to get Rizzio picked up.
You got to find the
Or
right
council.
category for what
Yeah.
it is. Like, is it furniture? Is it
Body.
green waste? Is it
I guess
human
it's
waste?
green waste. Human waste.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't seem to be an option here for bodies. So now I'm going to have to call them. I'm on hold.
And now, because I've been on hold so long, the slot for Tuesday that I wanted is taken. Now I've got to wait a fortnight. Fuck it
Freaking
out.
hell.
It's
He's
going to
go-
stink by then.
It'd be freaking disgusting by then. It'd be awful. Rotting away.
Great. Now I've got to put up with that.
Oh, now we've got stinking Rizzo.
Will I stay on the line for a quick survey? Yes, I will,
Yeah,
actually.
yes, I will.
Yeah.
I've got a few thoughts.
Yeah. Now, does 1 mean good or 10 mean bad? You tell me. I'm doing the bad one. So Ruthven, apparently after killing him, came back in. This is so ridiculous.
Clunked back in.
And said, "I'm a bit tired. Anyone got any wine?"
Oh, okay. Just trying to play it cool.
Yeah. And the Queen was most distressed. Her close friend has just been murdered. And she confronted Darnley, her husband, wanting to know why he'd been part of such a wicked deed. And he replied that she had been cuckolded, that she had cuckolded him with Rizzio.
Oh, that was a Freudian slip by her husband there.
Yeah. I'm a cuck. Oh, no, hang on, no. And that Rizzio was to blame for the problems in their marriage.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
It's always good to have a third party to blame.
Yeah. Especially when they're recently dead and they can't.
You defend themselves,
themselves,
or change their behaviours.
Yeah. That, no, that feels like he dealt with that pretty well.
Yeah. I think, what else could you have done?
What's his name? Darnley.
Darnley.
Dastardly, more like it.
Whoa.
Cop that.
Sorry, that was a bit much.
No, I think it was just enough.
Yeah.
I love how detailed it is. This is something that happened, nearly 550 years ago or something. And they know that he came back in and asked for a wine,
And also,
saying he was tired.
If you're tired, do you want a wine?
Oh, yeah, maybe just if he really wants to.
Get an
Relax.
espresso martini. Let's party.
Anyone got any Coke?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Snorting it
what
off an armour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you know who one of them there obviously kept a diary or something?
Yeah, there's a lot has been written down from this period, and
They had their official biographers in the room.
describing
It's
away.
just crowded.
And then he said, "I'd like some." Hey, don't write that down. Or can I read that back? Do I sound good?
Yeah. And then he
Clunking
said,
around in
"Don't write
armour.
that
What
down."
the fuck? It's probable that the murder of Rizzio was the start of a full coup to depose Mary, but she was able to convince her husband Darnley to escape with her, so she got out of there safely. But it's safe to say that the honeymoon was over between these two. Mary and Darnley's son, James, was born 3 months later on the 19th of June, 1566. Mary named Queen Elizabeth protector of her infant son. So they're obviously having a good period in their letters at this point.
1566, that's exactly 400 years before the Saints won their premiership.
Do you think
in the
that's a
VFL.
correlation?
Yeah.
400 years after James was born. Very important figure in Scottish and English
James the
history.
First.
This will be James the First.
Oh, I know a bit about it.
But
That's
what?
my family, after all.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
super inbred family. No, these are actually the ones with the U. This isn't mine. I'm the EW Stuart.
Yes, that's fine. You're okay.
Yeah.
But what goes around comes around, and this is the part that was suggested by Josh Curry. Thank you for your suggestion, Josh. On the night of February 9th, 1567, Mary's dodgy second husband, Lord Darnley, was at home in Kirkfield, on the outskirts of Edinburgh, recovering from an illness, when his house was blown up,
Whoa.
Whoa.
fully
Whoa.
exploded with gunpowder.
What?
Wow.
I was thinking fire. I was not thinking explosion.
They exploded it.
Whoa.
Full sploge. And Darnley's body was found. But it's so strange, it wasn't in the exploded house. Darnley and a servant were found outside in an orchard nearby, only half clothed and apparently having been strangled rather than killed in the explosion.
Oh, so they were trying to cover it up or something?
So what they think is that they tried to blow them up. They survived. They made a break for it, in the middle of the night, so they're half dressed in their dressing gowns or whatever.
I wrote a very different story.
Oh, what was your story? Because
They're boning in the orchard.
Oh,
Right. That's why they're semi-clothed.
Yeah.
And his lover accidentally strangles him, with a bit of rough stuff gone too far.
Yeah.
Bit of rough wooing, if you will.
No
Yeah.
code words being used.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's
and
why
then
you
he's
gotta
like,
have 'em.
"Oh, what do I do?" And he's like, "I'll cover my tracks by blowing up his house." But he forgot to put the body in there first.
I think I'll cover my tracks, I'll blow up my house, then I'll strangle myself.
Oh, that's what. No, I'm thinking the lover, not the husband.
But they were both strangled.
Yes. And then he strangled himself.
So what most people think is they tried to blow him up in the house.
That's the bit that's hard to explain.
Yeah. Use a bit of imagination.
When you say half clothed, I did imagine top no pants. Could have been the other way around, but I definitely imagined Winnie the Pooh style.
Yeah. It's probably the worst option for
Oh, yeah.
a fella.
But also back then, they're wearing a
dangling,
lot.
dangling out there.
They're wearing more clothes back then,
True.
Does Winnie the Pooh dangle down?
Nah.
No, he's not a dangler.
It dangles up.
Oh, yeah. He must tuck up into the shirt. He must be an up-tucker.
And so they found that the two bodies. Most people think that they escaped, but then there were lots of men there, and they outnumbered them, strangled them in the field, and that they're trying to make it look like they died in the explosion, but then they panicked and just left the bodies. But Darnley's death remains one of the great unsolved historical mysteries.
Whoa.
But it has great historical consequence for Mary. Mary, understandably, hears about her house being blown up, then strangled. She starts to fear for her own life, and she wasn't sure who to trust. She was also seen as one of the number one suspects for the murder of her own husband, as was James Hepburn, the Earl of Bothwell, a man who she had been close to. Bothwell was put on trial and acquitted of the murder, although several of his servants were found guilty and executed, probably as scapegoats. They were taken to the block shouting, "No, it was Bothwell."
Right.
But it was then widely rumoured that Bothwell would marry Mary. Her cousin, Queen Elizabeth down in England, heard this rumour, jumped in and wrote Mary a letter advising her to distance herself from this man who was associated with the death of her second husband. She's like, this is not a good look. Do not marry this man. But Queen Mary married Bothwell the following month.
Fuck you, Elizabeth.
3 months after Darnley's murder.
Oh.
Honestly, in terms of throwing off suspicion, it was not a good look for her, but it probably wasn't what it seems, because after he was found not guilty of the murder of Darnley, when Mary was on her way to Edinburgh, Bothwell suddenly appeared with an army of 800 men. He assured her that danger awaited in Edinburgh and told her that he proposed to take her to his castle at Dunbar out of harm's way and he'll look after her. A castle that she had given him, by the way.
Huh.
And she went with the man that she trusted. Also, she didn't have much choice because he had 800 men in his company, much more than she had. So, she's like, all right, I've got to go with him. And this is trigger warning for sexual assault here. Skip ahead to avoid. I won't go into any detail, but many historians believe that Bothwell then raped Mary in order to force her, a devout Catholic woman, to marry him.
Oh my God.
Oh, fuck.
That's what most people, well, a lot of historians. Some people say they don't believe that part, but being a very Catholic woman, she thought that she had to marry him, which she did. In her letters, however, Queen Mary defended her choice of husband, stating that she felt that she and the country were in danger and that Lord Bothwell was proven both in battle and as a defender of Scotland. So basically, she marries him, and they were both very unpopular in Scotland after this, on both sides of the church. They were sort of losing him on all sides. Bothwell had only divorced his wife 12 days before marrying Mary.
Jesus.
And the Catholics, who didn't believe in divorce, didn't recognise that the marriage was valid. And both Protestants and Catholics were shocked that Mary would marry the man accused of murdering her husband. And it looks like she'd been plotting with him.
Yeah. It's not a good look.
Not a good look. So a lot of
The
people talking
marketing
about
team is just
They're like,
pulling their hair
How
out.
can we spin this? Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just her religious beliefs that made her think that she had to marry him
Probably,
and
yeah.
couldn't tell the truth. And ugh.
Awful.
Basically, at the time, a lot of the people, like I say in the story, a lot of men use Mary to get their own power. They see it as if they capture the queen, then they can capture the power.
Is this chess? I don't understand chess.
Yeah.
That could have been a great reference or nothing.
Were you yelling, "Is this chess?" I love a character that doesn't know what chess is, just pointing at stuff. Is this chess?
No, I just like,
Is this chess?
She can
Capture
move all the way around
I
the
just
board.
heard capture the queen, and I was like, chess. So checkmate.
Chess Perkins strikes again.
Chess Perkins.
She can't be stopped. She can't be
She's back.
stopped. People try to stop her. They say, Jess, stop. You don't know chess.
Please
Shut
stop.
up.
You don't know what chess
And I
is.
keep going. I'll never stop talking about chess.
26 Scottish peers known as the Confederate Lords turned against Mary and Bothwell and raised their own army. Mary and Bothwell confronted the Lords at Carberry Hill in June, but there was no battle as Mary's forces dwindled away through desertion during negotiations, so people just sort of bailed on her. Bothwell fled and headed to Europe, but he was captured near Norway. He was then sent to Copenhagen, where the Danish monarch Frederick II deliberated on his fate. He thought about it and considered that Mary would probably never be Queen of Scotland again. He decided that Bothwell was useless, and he imprisoned him for 10 years, where reportedly he was chained to a wall in a way that meant he couldn't stand up properly. You could never, because it was so low, and he went mad. Terrible end for a terrible man.
I love that bit.
Oh, it's awful though, isn't it? 10 years of being chained to a wall where you can't stand up. My God, awful.
Awful.
But he's gone. Meanwhile, Mary was herself imprisoned in a cramped tower in Loch Leven Castle.
Why was this? Because of the they thought she did it still.
Yeah, and they're basically turning against her, and they're like...
For all these different reasons.
And it's a plot just to get rid of her. So they locked her in a castle on an island in the middle of Loch Leven. Very hard to escape. She was threatened that if she didn't abdicate the Scottish throne, that she would be murdered. So she signed a document that made her son James king. He was only one at the time, and a regent was chosen. This is what it was all about. Mary's half-brother, who had turned against her, James Stuart, the Earl of Moray, who was behind the plot, became king, basically,
right,
as a regent. So that's what the whole plan was. Get rid of her, make the baby king. He's got no say, and then her half-brother can take over the throne.
And he can figure out what he can do while the baby grows up.
Yeah.
Tried to, I guess, mold baby
Mold
James.
the baby, yes. And he did, because James, who is James the Sixth of Scotland, he was Protestant, unlike his mother, who was Catholic, because these people were in charge. So she's been forced to give up being queen. She's locked inside a castle on an island.
But she's locked up either way.
Yeah, because they don't want her getting her own army and taking it back over.
Right.
So they're like, well, keep her on an island. What's she going to do? How can she escape from here? A place that would be impossible to escape from. Unless you're as charming as Mary, Queen of
Oh,
Scots.
she's really charming.
She was able to convince a young man in the castle to help her. Disguised in servant clothing, she escaped to a waiting boat and reached the shore safely, where an ally, George Douglas, was waiting to rescue her. According to marystewart.co.uk, it was her second attempt to escape. This is their words. Her first attempt, during which Mary disguised herself as the washerwoman who came to the island to deliver the laundry, failed because the boatman taking her back to the other shore recognised her hands, which were renowned for their elegance.
Oh, get fucked.
Yeah, you can't. They're not washerwoman hands.
Get fucked. Her hands were renowned.
Famous hands. She should have been a teenage hand model. But she had other things to do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Those hands have never washed clothing in their life.
You must be a queen. What? What a leap.
Yeah, you must be a queen. Back to the prison.
Yeah.
What an absolute leap. That's wild.
So she escaped, and not going down without a fight, Mary, who was one of the only women in the world at this time to lead her troops into battle, raised an army of 6,000 men. She met her half-brother James Stuart's smaller forces at the Battle of Langside. Unfortunately for her, she was defeated and had to flee.
Oh, she had the bigger army.
Yeah, so she led her army, but not in a great way, apparently.
Well, and I guess she didn't have a lot of time with them, right?
Yeah.
He's probably there working with his army. They're doing army practice,
They're doing icebreaker challenges.
doing drills.
They're connecting.
Yeah.
They're playing Uno, but they know each other.
They're
Yeah.
going around the circle, saying something about themselves.
Yep.
Oh, hi, I'm Chris. I've been in the army for 4 years and I've killed 9 people.
Hi, Chris.
Hi,
Yeah.
Chris.
2 truths and a lie. His name isn't Chris.
And I've killed 10 people. There's 2 lies and the truth. Sorry, I don't know how the game works.
But it's interesting that she was able to raise a bigger army. So she's obviously still well liked and well supported.
Yes, there are Catholic holdouts who
Yeah.
very much still want her on the throne because, now this Protestant guy is ruling through her baby son. So she's defeated. Really, at this point, she had 2 choices.
Again, it's a great system.
Yeah.
The Protestant man is ruling through her baby son. Oh, yeah, this is a good system.
Yeah. It makes sense when you say it out loud. So at this point, she's got 2 choices. She could retreat to Catholic France, where she was once queen, or throw herself on the mercy of her letter-writing cousin Elizabeth I down in England. At the time, they were on good terms in the letters, so she went south. She thought that she would meet with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth would help restore her to the throne in England, in Scotland.
Bit of a gamble.
That is not what happened. Mary arrived in England and was basically put under house arrest for a very, very long time, being moved from castle to castle, house to house. Elizabeth
That
was...
sounds a lot better than the dungeon she was in, though.
Yeah, it is better than like a shitty castle on an
She's
island.
just couch surfing.
We've all been there.
Yeah, fantastic. Castle surfing, even better.
Still on couches, but in
Yeah.
castles, so it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not like being on a couch in a share house where 8 people already live. You
Yeah.
know? You're in a castle.
Flea-ridden.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, exactly. It's got the beautiful...
It's been a bit of a diva, I think.
Is she complaining?
Oh, I'm house arrest. No, I mean, you're just sleeping on a couch.
Yeah, you're at your friend's castle.
Jeez.
Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, come on, man.
This is a rough woe.
Yeah.
Elizabeth was very politically cunning and used the excuse of the suspicion around Mary and the murder of her second husband to hold Mary in captivity. There was no evidence that Mary was involved in the plot against her husband, but then, magically, some letters referred to as the casket letters appeared and seemed to show her writing letters to her third husband, Bothwell, planning the whole thing. But these are now accepted by most historians as being forgeries. Because they're like,
Wow.
we've got there's no evidence of this. Actually, here it is. There's a box full of it with you signing your name saying that you
Careful,
did it.
ink's still wet.
Yeah.
Careful smudging.
Why are they called the casket letters?
They're found in a casket.
Oh, like a coffin?
No, I think it's more like just a box.
Okay. Is that what casket? Yeah, I guess.
Like cask wine, I guess.
Yeah. And I think they were just hidden under someone's bed or something. And then people have looked at them and they're like, the dates don't even match up. Like,
They did that at the time or later?
no, later. Now people have been like, they weren't even in the same place when they were writing. They were together. Why were they writing letters to each other? Like, what's going on here? So anyway, but basically, Elizabeth didn't want to properly convict a monarch because, after all, they're chosen by God. So she was kind of...
You'd be saying God got it wrong.
And you
Yeah.
don't want to say that.
No.
Can't say that.
So instead, she kept Mary in this state of limbo. During her years of imprisonment, Mary had her own servants, including a physician and a secretary. So it was a pretty nice couch she was sleeping on. She apparently needed 30 carts to transport her belongings from house to house. To pass the time, she enjoyed embroidery, played cards, had visitors, and kept pets like dogs and birds.
Oh, sounds awful.
Sounds like fucking heaven.
Sounds like the best option.
Yes.
Imagine not having to be the queen anymore.
Yeah, you can just
and
embroider,
just chilling out. It's all the best things of being a queen.
hang out with your dog. Oh my god.
And none of the rough stuff like people trying to kill you.
Wooing. Oh.
None of the rough wooing. She wrote letters to her cousin Elizabeth, who more than once said that she would visit, but she didn't. Some speculate she didn't want to come under the charming spell of Mary.
Wow.
Face to face, you know?
Clever.
Yeah, you can't humanize the person you're
Yeah.
keeping under house arrest in a castle.
There's more than one occasion Elizabeth said she would come, but then she sent like someone in her place, like a messenger, and then Mary would ask, "When's Elizabeth coming?" And they'd like cleverly never answer the question. What, like, when's Elizabeth coming?
Nice
Look-
weather we're having.
Yeah, look over your shoulder. What's that?
That is clever.
I don't know what he actually said, but apparently you just like never answered the question. So she
When
never
is
knew when she was
Elizabeth coming? When is anyone really coming?
Yeah.
You know, Elizabeth, when's she coming or going? She's busy, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's fantastic though, isn't she? That hair of hers,
Yeah.
red, is it? I can't tell. Can you tell me? What's over there?
You'd
That-
be such a good messenger.
Oh.
Great messenger.
Wow. And you don't get shot.
And the beauty of it, Mary eventually goes, "Can you just stop talking?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
I
it.
regret asking.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
bored.
I'm actually I'm getting a bit tired. I might go have a nap if you
And
don't
a
mind.
wine.
If you don't mind
Might go have a rest on the couch.
giving me some space.
The whole time Mary was under house arrest, Elizabeth had all these advisors, particularly her long-term chief advisor, William Cecil, in her ear, telling her that she had to take care of Mary once and for all. William Cecil, a Protestant man, was truly paranoid that Mary, who was still somewhat of a Catholic icon, might be able to team up with another Catholic country in Europe, like France or Spain, and overthrow Elizabeth.
It's so funny. I thought you meant literally take care of her, like look after her.
No, I meant...
Finally, can
Yeah.
you take care of her? Come on.
Please, somebody.
She's your cousin.
She's royalty, for God's sake.
Look after her.
Let her go. She'll be fine. She's nice. I've been charmed by her.
She's
yes, I've been
charming.
charmed. No, he was like, you've got to kill her. He kept telling you have to kill Mary, but Elizabeth refused to do so and instead just kept her locked up. In the end, Mary, Queen of Scots, was imprisoned in England for 19 years.
Whoa.
Wow. How old is she at this point? She's going to live beyond 40.
Yeah, she's in her mid-40s.
Whoa. All that royal blood.
Mm.
Her health suffered from the lack of physical exercise, and not her value, but according to Britannica, quote, her figure thickened, her beauty diminished, as can be seen in the best-known pictures of her in black velvet and white veil, dating from 1578. So a lot of people, when they think of Mary, they imagine this image, because it's the most famous portrait, but growing up, apparently she looked a lot different.
Right.
But yeah, she was growing older, and also she was sort of basically wasting away, not doing anything for 2 decades.
Doesn't sound like she was wasting away. You said she was thickening up or
Yes,
something.
well, her health apparently,
What was that phrase?
Her figure thickened.
Her figure thickened.
and her beauty diminished. But she also suffered from physical
thickened.
ailments, like I think her legs seized up and stuff like that. She found it harder to move as she got older.
She grew up in the wrong era. If her figure thickened these days,
Yeah.
people wouldn't be saying diminished.
No. She'd be a thick queen.
Mm.
Literally.
That really got me. As time went by and the paranoia ratcheted up, so did restrictions on Mary. There were numerous plots to set Mary free, it is true to say, but not many of them actually involved Mary, who in the end was not allowed to communicate by letter. So they sort of had a problem where the advisors wanted to catch Mary out plotting, but then they locked her up so much that she couldn't actually plot. So in the end, to catch her out, they had to loosen the restrictions, and letters came in, including one from Sir Anthony Babington, who
What a
said,
great name.
a great name. He suggested a plan to kill Elizabeth and put Mary back on the throne. The long-term goal of the plot was the invasion of England by the Spanish forces of King Philip II and the Catholic League in France. leading to the restoration of the old religion and putting Mary back on the throne. After years of frustrating confinement, her health deteriorating, Elizabeth clearly not helping her, and not having seen her son since he was 10 months old, so she hasn't seen her son in 20 years either, Mary was desperate, and she wrote back to Babington in a coded letter agreeing to the plan. The only problem was that it was all a trick set up by Elizabeth's spy master, which is a great job title, spy master, Sir Francis Walsingham, who had a double agent working on the inside, and he intercepted all of the letters. And Mary replied, "Let the great plot commence. Signed, Mary." By signing her name there, Mary had essentially unknowingly also signed her own death warrant, because this gave Cecil, Elizabeth's advisor, the ammunition he needed to prove to his queen that Mary was plotting against her. Really, this is a nail in her coffin.
Right. Okay. I don't know if this is going to finish like I thought, because I assumed that she would return to the throne and be the Queen of Scotland. But it seems like she spent most of her life in jail or imprisoned or on couches or in France.
The first time she spent like 18 years in France, 19 years in jail.
The PR team has done a lot of good work.
First 5 years she was just a baby in Scotland. So there was maybe a couple of years in the middle where she was active as the Queen.
It does seem like babies have been the reigning monarch of Scotland through a lot of this story.
Well,
they love a baby
up
monarch. Yeah. A wee child. They love a wee monarch. Now, in France, that would mean a yes monarch. In Scotland, a small monarch. In Australia,
a piss monarch.
A piss monarch.
I know which one I respect the most.
Piss.
Absolutely.
If you hear the word we, what would you think of first?
Depends on the context.
Means, like
probably the collective term for us.
Yeah. But I love, because Kiwis say we, like, for small as well. I love it.
Yeah.
I wish I could pull it off, and I just can't.
I love the accent. I love the language.
Yep.
I love the lingo.
Yep. Love it all.
So good.
Beautiful place.
I love the Scottish Highland coos.
Mm-hmm. Did you love those coos?
I love those coos.
So cute.
Well, this part of the story is not great for Scottish history because, first of all, so they found out the Babington plot, it's called, because of Babington writing the letter.
Man, I fucking hate this Babington. Is that right? No, I like Babington.
Babington was right. He's the one that wrote to Mary and said, "Hey, I can help you escape, and then we can kill Elizabeth."
I love Babington.
So that was real?
That was real, but they had an double agent in the middle. Yeah.
I thought that was fake.
No, he was the real guy.
He was trying to help.
First of all, him and all the other plotters were arrested, then hung, drawn, and quartered. A horrible way to die.
That's the worst way to go.
Awful stuff. Mary was then arrested and put on trial for treason and found guilty. Nevertheless, her cousin Elizabeth hesitated to order her execution, even in the face of pressure from the English Parliament to carry out the sentence. She was concerned that the killing of a queen set a precedent of killing anointed monarchs, which up until this point, no one had done.
Oh, so she's not, I don't want to kill my cousin. I don't want to set a precedent that means I might get killed.
Exactly.
And there's another reason. She was also fearful of the consequences, especially if in retaliation, Mary's son James, who was King of Scotland, formed an alliance with the Catholic powers and invaded England.
Right.
So that's
what it means.
And then also, I think she also feels a bit sorry for Mary. I think that's what a lot of people romanticize the story. So
she might have been wondering if she didn't want to martyr her as well. You know, that's you kill the queen. That's the kind of thing that might backfire and get a lot of people.
Inspires other people. Yeah. Absolutely. Eventually, though, Elizabeth was pushed into signing Mary's death warrant, which was immediately rushed away in case she changed her mind, because all her advisors are like, "Yep, we want to get rid of her." In later years, Elizabeth would even deny that she signed it or claim that I didn't know what I was signing, trying to wash her hands of the blood, basically. But everyone knows she did it. She signed it. After being locked up for 19 years, Mary was suddenly told that she would die the next morning. Her cousin and rival, whom she had never actually met in person, Elizabeth, had ordered her execution. Now, nearly every movie or TV show about these two famous queens shows them meeting, but this never actually happened. Right. It was just 2.5 decades of letters back and forth.
Amazing.
Many of which still survive, so that's why we know a lot about their relationship.
Wow.
This is one of the saddest stories I've heard in a while.
It's full on, isn't it?
It's an absolute wild part of history.
A lot happens.
Her final letter, however, wasn't written to Elizabeth, but to Henry III, who was the King of France, which was actually kept secret for centuries due to Mary's use of letter locking, which I hadn't heard of, but where you use elaborate folds to lock the letter shut and keep its contents secret. For if you don't know the proper way to unfold and unlock the contents, it will be obvious that it's been tampered with. The final letter required more than 30 steps to complete, a mix of folding and slits and sometimes glue to prevent unwanted people opening it.
That's
wow.
And she was really good at it, apparently. So
fun. A lot of skills. Very
A
charming.
few too many.
Yeah.
Horse riding and crocheting.
And some of them that have been
music.
discovered, they've been able to read them without opening it. They now X-ray the letter, which is amazing.
How was she to know, though, Dave? You're saying, oh, what a fool.
No.
But honestly, how was she to know
How was
that,
she to
Dave?
know,
She didn't
Dave?
know. Oh, she didn't see X-rays coming.
You're
Jeez,
the fool, Dave.
It takes a lot to please you, doesn't it, Dave?
No, I am stoked with science that we can read them without undoing her awesome locks. I went down
amazing.
a bit of a rabbit hole on letter locking.
Yeah, wow.
It was cool.
I'd never heard of that. That's wild.
Yeah, and apparently extremely elaborate.
Now I just write on the outside, don't look.
Don't look. I'll know.
No boys allowed.
Yeah, like I write on all my letters.
On the day of her execution, which was the 8th of February, 1587, she appeared in her customary black cloak with a white veil over her head, holding a crucifix. Before she walked to the block, she dropped the cloak to reveal a crimson red dress, the colour of martyrdom. So she wanted to be a martyr. She was very stoic as she approached the spot where she would die. According to the Washington Post, the man who for so long had been her jailer offered her his hand to assist her ascent. "I thank you, sir. This is the last trouble I shall ever give you," she said. She also thanked the executioner for making an end of all my troubles. And
Charming to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Her last words before the axe fell over her head were, "Into thy hands, O Lord, I commend my spirit," which she was saying over and over again in Latin, apparently. She was 44 years old.
Whoa. Old for the time.
Yeah, and her head was removed with about 100 people watching on, which, gosh, that must have been terrifying for her, but apparently she was very stoic.
That's not an execution. That's euthanasia.
At that old
44.
age.
Yeah.
You're doing her a favour. It's the humane way to go.
Yeah.
3 chops to the back.
We don't want you to suffer anymore,
Yeah.
old lady. 44.
Beheading, though, it's quick, isn't it?
If they do it properly.
Yeah, I know.
If they
Unfortunately-
do it wrong, all of a sudden she's running around.
Chicken.
I don't want to get too brutal, but the first one missed.
No.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah.
You
I
said
wasn't
you
going to
didn't
mention
want
it.
to.
You asked.
I did ask. Oh,
Yeah.
that's horrendous.
Took 3 goes, poor Mary.
Oh, my God.
Missed entirely, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just fully
Just a
missed.
whoosh sound.
They're
Yeah.
like, she's really tall. We're going to do it up here, but they went too high.
Mm-hmm.
They went 7 foot.
She's not that tall.
No.
Whoa.
Mary's clothes, crucifix, and writing book, along with the executioner's block, were all burned in the courtyard, so no relics remained. The beheading of Mary Queen of Scots was the first legal execution of an anointed European monarch, and it was a pivotal moment and would change forever the ancient tradition that royalty was untouchable. Over the decades and centuries that followed, many other monarchs would suffer the same fate. Precedent is a funny thing. Once you do something, you go, well, I guess we just do that now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like opening a can of Pringles.
Mm-hmm.
You go, you lop. Once you lop, you can't stop.
But did Mary get the last laugh? Well, 16 years after her beheading, Elizabeth herself died of natural causes, and with no children, it was Mary's son, James, that inherited the throne, uniting both Scotland and England as King James I.
Right.
And Mary's blood has flowed through all subsequent monarchs, so...
Fuck
Even
you,
till,
Elizabeth.
Till now. Yeah, there you go. So Elizabeth, she didn't have any kids.
She had no... So this is the...
She was busy writing letters.
Elizabeth is absolutely worthy of her own report because she ruled for 4 decades, a very long time, but she's famously the Virgin Queen.
Oh, that's her.
So she never married, and her whole life, all her advisors are like, you have to marry, you have to marry, you have to have a son, you have to have a son, all these, you have to have an heir, all these people pushing her. But she knew or thought, basically what happened to Mary, that if she married, a man would come in and take all her power. So she thought that if she stayed single, she could hold on to power.
Which is
But she
true.
could for the 4 decades of her life, and it meant that her heirs didn't continue on her legacy.
Right.
But yeah, this is very much, sadly,
who
at the
would've-
time,
her
a man's ruled world, and she knew that. So she was a very influential queen, but one of the reasons is people say because she never married.
Right. Oh, interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, what a story. It's I knew none of it, as it turns out.
Nah, none.
Well, she became Mary Queen of Scots, immortalised after her death as a doomed heroine, a figure of Scottish nationalism, and as a Catholic martyr, which has been the subject of poetry, music, plays, films, opera, TV over the centuries. Her son, James I of England, had Mary's remains removed to Westminster Abbey in 1612 and had an elaborate tomb built for his mother. And they might never have actually met in real life, but the Queen cousins are lying opposite each other for all of eternity, as both are buried only a few metres apart in the Henry VII Chapel in Westminster Abbey.
Wow.
That's somewhere we've never gone on our trips over to
No, we haven't
the UK.
been.
We
There'd be
should.
lots of previous topics buried or at least with a tribute to them in Westminster Abbey.
Yeah. Wow.
And I know it's a bit of a grim story, so a final potential fun fact.
I'll decide.
To end on a slightly higher note. This is not a grim fact. Maybe it's a boring fact, but hopefully it's fun.
We've had enough grim facts for
Yes,
one
I
episode.
know. Mary was the first woman to practice golf in Scotland.
Okay, that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun.
She was apparently the first woman, full stop, to regularly play golf.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
And I think maybe the famous golf course St Andrews was built during her lifetime.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the 1500s or something.
Wow. Wow.
So she was like their Kari Webb.
Thank you for putting into context.
Yeah, now I get it.
A nice fresh reference. I think she was the world number one about 20 years ago.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's a fun fact to end on,
I think
maybe?
it's pretty fun.
What a story. And so when you said she was martyred, is she seen as an important figure in the Catholic Church? Like she wasn't sainted or anything, or whatever.
She's not a saint, but
what do you call sainted, Bob?
Saints?
What do you call the thing when you make someone a saint?
You make him a saint?
Yeah, that's right.
Anointed,
And
given sainthood. What do you say?
Sainted.
Yeah.
Has she been sainted?
No, but she is a famous figure in the Catholic Church, absolutely, and they do see her as a martyr.
right, just not saint quality.
I think to be a
Not
saint,
enough miracles.
you have to perform 4 miracles.
I think
yeah.
back in the day, martyrdom was enough. I think maybe early, but
Oh,
now
okay.
it's like 2 miracles. Oh, please, I don't. That's not correct. I don't know.
You don't have to correct us. We won't remember.
You can. People do, and I always appreciate it, but I can nearly never remember the things they're
Never
correcting
remember.
me on.
Nah.
But I like it. Thank you. Please correct me. The word is canonise. You canonise a saint. It was big when I was in primary school. Geez, my teachers were keen on making Mary MacKillop a saint.
Yeah.
I was so got to canonise Mary MacKillop.
I'll get an Aussie saint,
We
yeah.
want an Aussie saint.
God, we've got like little man syndrome, don't we?
Yeah, but it also just like what are you in this for?
Yeah.
What? It's such a weird way to take a religion.
Yeah.
Trying to make it a nationalistic thing or whatever. It's very strange. But anyway, they got her there. I think she is a saint now. Well, that brings us to everyone's favourite section of the show, Dave. And welcome to all the people who have skipped the report. You missed a very interesting story, I'd say.
Yeah,
Grimmer than I thought. I really did think at the end she was going to come out. I'm like, 19 years imprisoned.
It
and
would
then
have
she
been-
comes out to rule Scotland after that. Wow, this is going to be amazing.
That would have been the comeback of the year,
Yeah.
but sadly not.
But yeah, so I'd love to know when she started getting referred to as Mary Queen of Scots, if that happened like years later or what, because she didn't spend a lot of time in Scotland.
No, I'm pretty sure that was just a...
That's just what they called
That's
her.
just what they called her, yeah.
Well, it's a great name, and she deserved better. But this part of the show isn't about her.
That's right.
And, you know, to be honest, Mary Queen of Scots, just take a back seat for a moment.
Shut up for a sec.
The rest of the show is about thanking our fantastic supporters. It's also the part of the show where we get a little looser. We've obviously been very strict, very on topic so far.
Regimental.
Yes, now we get to loosen it up a bit.
Yeah, finally we
Kick
get
off
to
our shoes.
We get to show you our personalities, which we keep secret the rest of the time.
Yeah, we've been working on developing some in the off season.
It's hard.
Off season to us is the rest of the week when we're not
Yeah.
potting.
Yeah, Thursday to Tuesday.
Yeah. Thursday to Tuesday. Yeah.
Well, because episodes come out on a Wednesday.
Okay.
We record on Thursdays,
Uh-huh.
but that's more of just like an admin thing that we know.
Yeah.
The listeners don't necessarily know that.
No, I was trying to do the sums
Okay,
there.
cool.
Because it'd be Wednesday to Wednesday, because it's only a couple of hours.
True. Yeah. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, and that's what's
my
cool
God.
about us.
And this is the kind of fun stuff we'll have in this section of the show.
Absolutely. Well worth skipping the report for this.
So if you want to get involved, go to patreon.com/dogoonpod and you can support this show. You get all sorts of rewards, including, at the moment, 3 bonus episodes per month, but we were just talking about it earlier. If we get to this new target, which is coming up soon, we will start doing a 4th each month, which will be a D&D, what do you call them? A thing.
Campaign.
Oh my God.
Great lingo, Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
I love D&D.
Yeah, a couple of years ago we did Dugo D&D or Dugo whatever we called it, which was a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and on the Patreon, which is still there because you get all the bonus episodes as well when you sign up, the old ones, and people really loved it. They've been asking us to bring it back, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
When we hit the goal.
And I'm excited for it. I got lost because I'm thinking, like, what about
You thinking of new names?
What about Dungeon and Drag Gone? Wait, Do John
Yes.
and Dragon.
Then what?
So the do
John
is in Do John
Do John.
and wait, do
I think it works written down.
well, I don't even know about that. But
Hey, we've got time
I
to
don't know
workshop
how-
the title.
how long was I out for then?
It felt like hours.
Anyway, so yeah, there's bonus episodes. People vote on topics like today's topic by Dave was voted on by our supporters.
It's not even called Dungeon. It's Dungeon and Dragon. Anyway, so yeah, that's right. People get to vote for the topics.
Quite a puzzle. Someone listening right now will be like, well, I got it. And they'll tweet me and I'll not know what they're talking about.
Someone smarter than us, let us know. But yeah, there's a Facebook group where it's the loveliest corner of the internet. At the moment, the godmother of the group.
Do godmother.
What is wrong with you two?
Sophie's in there. She's organising a T-shirt swap at the moment where people, wherever they are in the world, she matches them up on a very complicated spreadsheet with other people. So say I'm in Melbourne, I send a T-shirt to someone in Austria and they send one back to me. Very cool stuff. In the past, they've done magnets.
Yeah.
They've done Christmas ornaments.
What
It's
a beautiful
awesome. It's a
neck
lovely
of the
place.
woods that is.
So nice.
And yeah, there's other things like you get early access to tickets. So, for instance, our 400th episode coming up, the patrons bought most of the tickets before they went
that's
public,
right.
stuff like
It
that.
sold out in just a few days because the Patreon people got in first. Good on them.
But the first thing we normally like to do is thank a few of our great supporters in the Sydney Scheinberg section of the show, which is called the Fact Quote or Question, which actually has a jingle. Go somewhere like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
He always remembers the ding. She always remembers the jingle.
And can I just say, Dave added a dance to it this week, and
Yeah.
that was lovely.
I was feeling it.
We probably had to edit it out, but it was a tap number.
A tap, a tap, a tap.
And in this section, you get to give us a fact, quote, or question, or a brag, or a suggestion, or really whatever you like if you sign up on the Sydney Scheinberg level. And first up this week, it's a first-timer in the fact, quote, or question section. It is Victoria. You also get to give yourself a title, and Victoria's title is Prostetnik Vogan Jelts. And
Okay.
does that mean anything to either of you?
No, maybe
No.
it works written down like Dungeon. Do John.
And Victoria's question is, what's your comfort media? A movie, TV show, music, or book
Okay.
that you'll return to and when you feel like you need something familiar and comforting. And as I always request, if you're going to ask a question in this section, please give us an answer. And Victoria has done that writing. To answer the question myself, I have reread The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books more times than I can remember. They hold a dear place in my heart, and they're always a comforting read. P.S. The book cheat episode about it is obviously my favourite. Thanks for all you do. Me and Jess were on that episode, weren't we,
That's
Dave?
right, yeah. The three of us together. It was a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed reading it for that episode.
Do you record that in my office?
Yes, at the old studio.
At my desk.
I remember that.
Yes.
It was live from Jess's desk.
A tiny desk special.
Now, did you know this Prostetnik Vogan Jets was a Vogon, civil servant and commander of the Vogan constructor fleet, which was sent to destroy the planet Earth? I can't figure out what. In what, though?
I'm guessing Hitchhiker's Guide.
Oh, yes. That would make sense.
That's my guess.
Yes,
Is that right, Dave?
that's right.
I would have said, I guess, Star Wars.
I remember the word Vogon somehow.
I guess. There's no way to prove anything, so I guess that's it.
There's nothing to hold on here from Victoria. She hasn't given us any clues.
Nothing at all. All right, comfort media. When I'm sick, I like to watch Tangled, and but there's probably a bunch of like rom-coms that are real comfort movies to me. I just watched one on the plane that I've watched so many times. It's What's Your Number, and it's Anna Faris and Chris Evans, and it's funny, and it's easy.
Yeah.
Well, comfort for me is just things that just wash over you, and every now and then you go, heh, and that's it. That's comfort.
Yeah. Comfort for me is shit blowing up on the screen. I'm talking Con Air, The Rock, Under Siege, these kind of Speed, Die Hard, sort of fun action movies that I have seen so many times. I know what's going to happen.
Yep.
And, you don't have to concentrate too hard, and then you get a bit of action, you get a bit of cool, funny lines.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
That's good shit.
I find I don't think, for some reason, I don't feel the comfort in old things like that necessarily. I'll much prefer to watch a new, probably a genre of movie that is predictable.
Yeah, and familiar.
But I even movies I love, it takes me a while to want to go back and watch it. I have to nearly have forgotten what happened to go back to it. Maybe it's different with music, or even some audiobooks. I've re-listened to Alan Partridge's audiobooks a few times and a few Bill Bryson's.
Love that, Bill.
But yeah, I think I need, with them as well, I kind of need to have forgotten a lot of it before going back to it. Which, I don't know. Does that mean there's something wrong with me?
Yeah.
Damn it. I knew we'd finally figure it out.
Yeah, I think your problem is that you have a better memory than both of us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We get to enjoy them for the first time
Every time.
Good question there, Victoria. Yeah. But yeah, audio stuff I think would be more likely. Music. So many bands. Listen to like old pop punk sometimes. Blink-182 or old metal albums.
Whatever
Pantera
brings you
albums and stuff
comfort.
that loved back in the day. Thank you very much, Victoria. The next one comes from Pete Holburton. Dave's mate.
Pete, I saw you on the street. See you on the street again.
I've met Pete a few times, but that one time you met him on the street, I think makes your connection stronger.
He's genuinely a great guy.
And
come to lots of our live shows, Pete.
Yeah.
Good on you.
And what does Pete do for a living again, Dave?
I don't know if I know. Do I know Pete's job?
He works for basically NASA, I think. And his
I know that he's a big fan of the Apollo missions, and that was his topic on Hard Quiz that he went on.
I think he's some sort of rocket scientist or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
And his nickname is Wannabe Steely-Eyed Missile Man.
Good on you, John Aaron.
And Pete's offering us a fact writing. In 1908, a dog in Paris saved 2 children from drowning in 2 days and was rewarded with a juicy steak each time. Unfortunately for the children of Paris, the dog was clever as well as brave, and it quickly learnt it could save more drowning kids if it knocked them into the river itself. It managed to save several more kids before the truth was discovered. That is...
I mean, technically, the dog saved them.
Eh?
Yeah.
Come on. That is good stuff.
That is very good.
Pete says, love all the pods. Thanks for all the laughs. And thanks for the great comedy festival shows, both individual and the quizzes. All superb.
Thanks, Pete.
Pete, you're a gentleman.
Pete came on my quietest night, and I was really worried it was going to be a really grim show. And everyone was a Patreon supporter, I'm pretty sure, on this night, and looked out there. And we actually had a really fun time. Seeing
great.
Pete's smiling and laughing face really kept me going.
So
Everyone really
good.
got into it.
He was singing about something you thought of earlier, but...
He had headphones in, but
He was facing the wrong way now, I think about it. But the back of your head, Pete, it really spoke to me.
I think, yeah, that's right. He was watching Matt Stewart live at Stupid Old Studios
Yeah.
on YouTube, which is still available.
Wow.
Yeah.
and very funny.
Weird that he paid to see my show and then watch your special you can watch for free.
Hey, let's not yuck anybody's yum.
Yeah.
That's how Pete likes to have fun.
By supporting you, sort of.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate your almost support.
And thank you, Pete. And the next one comes from Roy Phillips, a.k.a. Pad Kid Who Poured Curd Pulled Cod. You son of a gun.
You got through that all right, though.
Yeah.
Well
Pad
done.
Kid Who Poured Curd Pulled Cod.
Good job.
And Roy's also offering a fact writing. If you look at a sugar solution through a polarized light filter and rotate either the solution or the filter, it will change color. I can go into the science behind it, but it's quite long-winded and surprisingly complex. Anyway, hope that's interesting, Jess.
Can I hear it again?
If you look at a sugar solution through a polarized light filter and rotate either the solution or the filter, it will change color.
Huh.
That does sound... I'd love to see it.
I would love to see it. I don't understand it. I don't know if I can deem it fun if I don't understand it.
It's a thing. Two things.
Yes.
And without changing anything apart from the angle.
So you're changing something?
Yes.
When you move one of them, the colour changes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
A cool fact. Thank you, Roy. I thought that was fantastic. And finally, from Ben Johnson, whose title is a link to a Google map. Let's see where it goes. Ben Johnson Road Post Office. Okay, that's the title there. Or I guess the link is the title.
Wow.
So technically the title is http ://goo.gul/maps, etc. And
Okay. Is Ben trapped somewhere and has sent us dropped a pin or something?
let's find out, because he's offering us a brag.
Hi, I'm not trapped.
Writing, "Hi guys, quick brag time. I've been made redundant."
Okay, usually I'd say sorry to hear that, but if it's a brag, great.
Yeah. Let's see what any further explanation. "Strange to think that I've been doing this job as the graphic designer for a small local charity for 8 years and that it is soon coming to an end. To put it into context, I've been at this job since July 2015 before Do Go On even started."
Whoa.
Probably about the same time we started recording.
Yeah, for sure.
Almost exactly, I'd say. "It's crazy to think how much has happened in the world in that time. Brexit, COVID, Ukraine, and so many Marvel movies. But the constants I always had with this job, my partner Georgia, and the network of Australian podcasts I use as therapy, mainly Do Go On. My usual routine is to work at my desk and listen to old episodes on repeat. Oh, for comfort reasons?
Oh, we are a comfort media.
Right.
I actually, there's some podcasts I listen to old episodes again, but again, I have to give it a bit of time.
Got to forget the story.
Because there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
So to have such a big change is quite scary for me. Now time for the real brag. I've been accepted onto an apprenticeship. I've been thinking of a career change for a while, and being made redundant was a good kick up the ass to get going. It's a diploma apprenticeship in digital IT, working and earning a degree full time. I know it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I could not be more excited. Plus, it starts in late September, just in time for block.
That's so
coming
great.
up so fast.
Yeah.
I'll be wishing everyone a happy block without context. I could not have done this without the help of a couple of friends. So huge shout out to Maya and Reese. And of course, you guys will be there with me too. Every episode of the pod makes life a little easier. Time to add a cheeky question because it's a diploma. Time to add a cheeky question because it's a diploma apprenticeship.
I didn't know what you were saying until you said it again.
I thought it was going to be diplomatic.
I thought you
A
were,
diploma.
I thought you were trying to say like the name of a dinosaur or something. It was the world's biggest diploma. He doesn't read them until he reads them.
Because it's a diploma apprenticeship, everyone else on the course will be fresh out of their A-level. Will all be a decade younger than me. In order to keep up with the youth, I'll need to download TikTok, start vaping, and learn some modern slang words.
Yep.
So can you teach me some of the freshest slang words you know so I can make everyone think I'm a fellow youth?
Yes, us elder millennials can help you
absolutely.
for sure. Everything is slay.
Hell yeah! What
he's
gives
also
you the
answered his
what gives you
question.
the ick?
Yeah, that's so cringe.
Yeah, apparently
Extra.
Jess
Everything's
has-
extra.
Jess has explained this to me. Domes on coffees are not cool.
Yeah, dome lids.
If you got a dome lid on a plastic
That's
like
cringe.
iced coffee,
I mean, that was true a month or two ago.
I know.
I think domes are back. Ben answers a couple of the latest slang words I know are bussin' and no cap, though I don't know what these mean.
I don't know what either of those mean.
Thanks and sorry for the long post. Love you guys. Yeah, since between me starting and ending reading out your message, slang has changed.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what no cap means. Let's find out. No cap.
Ben, I've got you covered.
No lie, for real.
There's a Wikipedia article called List of Generation Z Slang.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for those fantastic fact quotes and questions there from Ben, Roy, Pete, and Victoria. The next thing we like to do is shout out to a few of our other great supporters. And Jess, you normally have a bit of a game to play somehow.
Well, yeah. I mean, it seems I haven't used my laptop since the last time we recorded because I still have my horse name generator open.
Ooh.
So maybe we could say what they're queen of.
Yeah, great.
And
Brilliant.
I could find stuff.
And we'll let AI decide.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to Mary?
Yeah.
She was named the Queen of Scots. She said, what are the chances? This is nominative determinism.
That's wild.
From the horse name generator.
It made no sense as well 'cause she spent more time in jail or France. A lot of time in England.
Yeah, in jail in England or living in France.
Queen of jail.
Couch queen. All right, if I can kick us off, I'd love to thank from White Horse, unbelievably,
Whoa.
from YT in Canada. Where would YT be? It's Samuel Primard.
Was that Yukon Territory? Yukon Territory, is that what it is?
Ah.
I'm guessing here. Don't fact check me. I'll do it
Samuel
myself.
Primard is the monarch of the...
No, they're all queens.
Oh, they're all queens. The queen of the...
Cincinnati.
Queen of the Cincinnati.
Okay.
Queen of the Cincinnati.
And again, not in Cincinnati, so it doesn't make sense.
Wasn't there that movie, The Last King of Scotland? And I think that was a
Yes.
guy who never went to Scotland, maybe? I never saw it.
Oh, yeah, Idi Amin.
Idi Amin. That was who that was about. I've heard of him. Anyway, so Samuel Primard is the Queen of Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a racehorse, really.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samuel, for all your support. The next person I love to thank is from Edmonton in Canada as well. Hello, Canada. It's Jaden Hine.
That's a great way to introduce it. Hello, Canada. It's Jaden Hine.
Well, that is good. Queen of Hocus Pocus.
Ooh, great.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Little witch.
I'll have $10 each way on Queen of Hocus Pocus.
Just Hocus Pocus is a good name for a horse, isn't it?
Fantastic.
I mean, that's why it's on a horse generator.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nothing
Is
but
it-
the best.
I know, I should, not a racehorse generator, is it?
Just horse name generator.
Yeah, you could pat Hocus, but that's a good name for it. Like, you know, your kid's pony. Oh, it's
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus.
Maybe the local fairy dress-up person
Yep.
puts a horn on it, takes it to kids' parties
It's a
or
unicorn
something.
called Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
That's cute.
And finally from me, I'd love to thank from Griffith in New South Wales, Australia. It's Jeremy Gleason. Hello, Australia.
Hello, Griffith. Queen of?
Ratatouille.
Now, is Ratatouille something apart from the name of a rat in a cartoon?
It's not the name of the rat.
What?
Ratatouille is a dish. It's a vegetable
A
dish.
very good-looking rat. It's not a rat. It's a dish. Serve me up some of that rat.
Is that Gen Z slang right there?
Yeah.
Right, so Ratatouille is not the name of the rat. Is that a good movie?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I bet Ratatouille is the name of probably a fancy dish.
It's stewed vegetables all kind of
Oh.
assembled like that.
Yes, I quite like them.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, right. Well, there you go. Ratatouille. It would be weird to name a rat Ratatouille, I guess. It'd
His
be
name's-
like
his
calling
name's
Jess
Remy.
Human Tooie.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you how I bombed in front of a waiter once? I was out with two friends and the meal of the day was ratatouille. So my first friend goes, I'll have ratatouille. My second friend goes, I'll have ratatouille. And I said, make that ratatouille.
That's funny.
Absolutely bombed.
That's probably because every table had said that.
Do you reckon?
Do you reckon every table's ordering 3 ratatouilles?
Yeah, come on.
I've never heard of the dish before. I
No,
thought
maybe
it was
they
a rat
didn't- maybe
until
they just
moments
didn't
ago.
get it.
I think, can I punch it up a bit?
Please.
I don't think I can, but
No.
I would have said, you set it up again.
Okay, so I'll say ratatouille. I'll have ratatouille. Jess says she'll
Yeah,
have
yeah,
ratatouille, and
yeah.
then you're me. Okay. Oh, I'll have a ratatouille, please.
Yeah, I'll also have the ratatouille, thanks.
I might have a ratto as welly.
The whole restaurant goes wild.
Ratto as welly.
You're like, okay. What else do you want?
See, Dave, don't try jokes ever again. That's the lesson.
That was the last time I tried a joke.
Mm.
That was about 8 years ago.
What are we doing?
We're thanking people.
Hey, let me
That's
give a
right.
big shout out from Carlingford in New South Wales. Thanks for the support from Frank Draper.
Oh, that's a good name.
Frank Draper, Queen of.
Nutcracker.
Queen of Nutcracker.
Nice.
Queen of Nutcracker. Frank Draper. That's fantastic.
Great.
I reckon you could put that on your business cards, Frank. Frank Draper sounds like a businessman.
It does. Sound like someone that would get the job done.
Mm.
I trust you with my life already.
Frank Draper, Queen of Nutcracker. What can I do for you?
Everything rhymes with this guy. I would like to thank now from South Elgin in Illinois, it's Riley Ness.
Queen of Punk.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, Riley.
Ness.
Punk is a funny name for a horse.
Yeah.
Punk.
Just
Punk.
Punk. What's your name? Punk.
That's good.
All right,
I love
Punk.
it. And from Irwin, Pennsylvania, shout out to Tommy Isherwood.
Pennsylvania, named after a guy called Penn. Learnt that in a Bill Bryson book. No, I was thinking Pittsburgh. Pitt is.
Named after a guy called Penn.
Names work in weird ways, I guess.
We've just gone Canada, Canada, Australia, Australia, US, US. What are the odds?
What
Whoa.
are the odds? And Tommy Isherwood is Queen of
Rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
Rodeo.
Queen of Rodeo.
Damn
The
right.
bucking bronco.
Is it my turn to thank some people?
Absolutely.
I would love to thank from, where are we up to? Oh, yes, from Escondido
Ooh.
in California. I would love to thank Darylyn Atkinson.
Darylyn Atkinson.
What a great name.
That's a fantastic.
Darylyn.
Darylyn Atkinson.
Love it.
Darylyn's beautiful. And Darylyn is Queen of Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
That's the name. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darylyn Atkinson.
Pirate
of
Queen.
Pirates.
Love it.
Broke the pattern there, though. Daryl, that's the only... Yeah, I mean, a pirate would. Pirate doesn't care for law and order.
Nah.
Canada, Canada, Australia, Australia, US, US. US?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Very disappointing. Let's see if we can turn this around.
Okay.
As I thank from Glasgow,
Ooh.
in Great Britain, Tracy Matheson.
Ooh, Tracy Matheson's got to be Queen of the Scots. No, that would make too much sense. Who are they Queen of, Jess?
Biscuits.
Oh, Queen of Biscuits.
That's the best.
Queen of Biscuits is fantastic.
Yum.
I'll have a Monte Carlo, please.
Oh, yeah. Monte Carlo for me. The Queen of Biscuits.
I'll have a chocolate-covered teddy bear, please.
Oh, what is this? The dunce of biscuits?
Yum. I love the chocolate-covered one.
You know what I read the other day that Dunce? That's just named after a guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, Gary Dunce. If I only knew.
I'm thinking about doing a Patreon episode about words that are named after people and where they came from.
Love it.
Because I went, Dunce, that can't be real. There you
That's
go.
amazing.
Or a bit like Ponzi scheme.
Yes, Casanovas.
Yeah. Okay, we've just found a few for
Yeah,
you.
great. All right. I'll bring some in for a Patreon episode.
Great, love that. And finally, to bring it all home, I would love to thank from Address Unknown. We can only assume Scotland so that it all joins up nicely.
Yeah.
Sophie Houston.
Sophie Houston.
Love the idea of from now on we don't assume the fortress, we just assume Scotland.
I just want.
No,
Matt
it's
felt
fun.
so sad.
It's great.
so-
We're like, I assume we've just got hundreds of extra listeners in Scotland.
Okay, I've got a couple of good ones here.
Okay, Queen of.
Queen of Gentlemen
Oh, yeah.
or Queen of Twist.
Oh, Queen of the Gentleman Twist.
Oh, that sounds good.
That feels like twisting their nuts.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
putting
wrestler name.
Yeah.
Putting gentlemen in a twist.
Yeah.
The Squirrel Grip.
Yes,
Queen of the Squirrel Grip.
there it is.
Thank you so much to Sophie, Tracy, Daryl, and Tommy, Riley, Frank, Jeremy, Jaden, and Samuel. And the last thing we need to do, want to do, is welcome a few people into the Triptych Club. A beautiful club that Jess will explain for you right now.
Well, what it is if you support us over on patreon.com for 3 consecutive years on the shout out level or above, you get automatically brought into the Triptych Club. It's an exclusive, very cool club. I still think of it like an airport lounge, but it's got everything you could possibly need. And I'm behind the bar. I've got snacks for you, drink cocktail specials. Dave books a band. Matt's behind the velvet rope. He lets you in. Everybody cheers and goes completely nuts. This week I've got haggis
Oh, yeah. Great.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
scotch. So
I'm in.
pretty good.
That's a yes from
And I've
me.
also got these like veggie wraps that I got from this food truck at Edinburgh Fringe. I went back a few times because they were really freaking delicious and very crunchy, and I miss them and I think about them often.
Oh, but you tracked them down.
I've tracked them down and I've got
Fantastic.
them.
That's great.
They're really good. So, yeah.
And as for a band, you're never going to believe it. Obviously, I book this kind of artist, this level of artistry. I have to book years in advance. But somehow I have booked Scotland's own DJ superstar Calvin Harris.
He's Scottish. There you go.
There you go. Yes.
I don't believe it. You said I'm not going to believe it, and you were right. I don't believe it.
Thank you.
I will believe it when I see it.
As in, you don't believe that he's Scottish, or?
I don't believe any of it.
Welcome into my house. Coming into my house. Is that him? Coming into my house.
It is a Scottish house. He really gave it away.
Man, Scottish. Come to my wee house. I always thought it was a different kind of house.
I thought it was a piss palace.
So we've got quite a few inductees this week. Dave, are you ready? Have you got your pipes ready? You're the hype man.
Yeah, so as Matt welcomes these people in, I give them a hype up, and then Jess gives me a hype up for hyping these people up to keep me going.
That's right.
We got 13 inductees.
I'm
Lucky
queen
for
of the
some.
hype.
Oh, yeah. And Dave is queen of the hype. And here we go. Are you ready? From Rotherham in... Do you reckon that's right? Or Rotherham?
Rotherham.
From Rotherham in Great Britain, it's Thomas Hill.
Look, some people said I was over the hill, and then I met Thomas. Woo! And now I'm over the Thomas.
From Atherton in California in the United States, it's Kendall Leveson.
More like Kendall Heavenson.
Yeah, you're heaven.
From address unknown, can only assume from deep within
Scotland?
the fortress of Scotland, it's Matt Byrne.
Feel the burn.
Yes.
Matt.
Byrne is a Scottish name, I think. From Rossendale in Lancashire in Great Britain, it's William Maudsley.
Certainly not Ross and Fail when William Maudsley's around.
It's a Mossam win.
Yeah.
Woo! Ross and win.
I was like, I'm going with it.
From Barnet in Great Britain, it's Katie Fitz.
Katie Fitz, more like greatest hits.
Oh, Katie
That
Fitz.
almost rhymes with Katie. Grady hits.
Katie fits in anywhere you want her. Very good socially.
Oi.
From London in Great Britain, it's Connor Kennedy.
All right, what'd you do for this one?
Yeah, go on.
Certainly not cursed when it comes to friendship. Connor Kennedy.
I'd say Your Honor Kennedy.
Well, just because yours is better that one time. From Wollongabba in Queensland in Australia, it's Catherine Gray.
The skies certainly aren't Catherine Gray when you were around, if you know what I mean.
Ooh.
From Breitling in the Northern Territory, Australia, it's James Rogers.
You'll never have to wait, Ling, for a good conversation when James Rogers is here.
From Pakenham in the Australian Capital Territory, it's Bo Stephen.
Bo Stephen. Faux even. That's how there was almost something there. Do you know what I mean? What? Well, you pick it up here, Matt. Go on.
First thing you know, I'll be back in Bo Stephen again. Like Bo River, the Cold Chisel song.
Okay, great.
I'll be back in. I only just saw that through. Bo, apologies for that.
Yeah, sometimes things come to my mind and I go, that definitely rhymes, but I can't say it because it really sounds weird.
I'll be in your vibe. I'll be in your vicinity.
In your vicinity, in your bubble.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
I wish anyway, because that's
In
how
your
good you
orbit.
are. Yes.
Because you just suck everybody towards you because you're so great.
Yeah. From London in Great Britain, it's Millie B.
Silly me, it's Millie B.
Can't improve on. From Poughkeepsie in New York in the United States, it's Garrett Oakley.
Just a hop, Poughkeepsie, and a step away. Garrett Oakley is here to stay.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Why not jump?
Shut up!
From Bedford in Great Britain, it's Lucas Sherd.
Let's put this night to Bedford with Lucas Sherd.
Woo!
You showed me right.
Yeah, I heard is good, isn't it? Yeah.
Honestly, he just can't let you have this one thing.
From Tidworth in Great Britain, it's Danny Charlotte. No charlatan, she's the real deal.
She's
Danny
the real
Charlotte.
Danny.
She's the real Danny.
Yeah, that's a one too. They ain't no charlatan. They're the real Danny.
Welcome in Danny, Lucas, Garrett, Millie, Bo, James, Catherine, Connor, Katie, William, Matt, Kendall, and Thomas. Make yourselves at home. Kick your feet up. Jess sees it as an airport lounge. I've always seen it more like a Vegas velvet lounge, you know? Lights are down low.
Sexy.
Yeah, maybe you're drinking a port, or in this case, a whiskey.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Frank Sinatra's on stage. But tonight it's the band
Calvin Harris. Yeah, this century's Frank Sinatra.
Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Anything we need to tell people before we go, Bob?
That we love them and we're not mad at them for that one thing. And if they want to suggest a topic,
Little disappointed.
they can do that. They can go to our website, dogoonpod.com. where you can find info about live shows. You can see other podcasts we do, and you can find us on socials at Do Go On Pod as well.
Hey, we'll be back next week with another episode. Can't believe it. We're only a couple away from 400 now. Of course, you can join us for the live stream on June 17, 2023, if you want to watch that. And you can watch it live or on catch-up. We're in Stupid Old Studios, so it's not just a locked-off camera. We've got a full production going on there.
It's going to look so good.
Multiple cameras. See us from all sorts of angles. Some you probably don't want to. So you can get tickets for that at the website, just said, dogoonpod.com. But until then, until next week, that is, I'll say thank you so much for listening and goodbye.
Later.
Bye.
Jess is drinking a pure peppermint tea.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that looks good.
Yeah, it's already gone.
I never even
warm.
thought about that. There's hot water in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, I could be drinking tea in here.
Yeah.
Jesus.
My throat goes.
Fuck,
So I
that's...
thought, let's keep that lube.
I love tea.
Lube it up.
You know what I did this
BYO
morning?
mug too.
I sculled a tea that was too hot in the shower.
What?
Because I'm like, I gotta get in. I gotta get in for the pod. So I'm like, oh,
You didn't think to add some cold water to it?
none of
or-
it made
You could've
sense. I was
watered
panicking.
Water it down with the warm water from the shower head.
Yeah, that could have helped.
God.